What's up, Ben?
No, no, I'm not fucking ready. What do you mean ready? I can't do
No,
it. You
you're
did it to me
ready.
last
I
week. You
I
jumped
already
me.
I already hit record. That's it. We're starting.
I'm finishing up a meal, so it's your fault.
That's okay. You can eat and talk at the same time. Question.
Okay,
So
go.
we'll get into some boring stuff, but technical stuff because me and Paul were having a discussion, and I don't think either one of us is really a science person. So I thought I'd run it by you. And just for reference, for people, like it's funny we talked about deadlifting on the last podcast, and some people are like, "Wow, Fouad doesn't know how to deadlift." I don't I don't know the biomechanics and the science bullshit behind all these lifts. I do what feels good, and I've always trained instinctively, and that's how I grew my physique. So people should know that I don't know the technical terms or all that shit ahead of time. But anyway, so me and Paul were discussing some new training techniques I was trying today, and they're basically keeping
Mhm.
constant tension on the muscle. So, for example, we were doing lateral raises with the machine, and we were doing reverse cable, I guess pull aparts, you would call them, right? Like reverse pec deck, but with a cable. What's going on, guys? This episode is brought to you by MarekHealth.com, and I want you to go there, use code RBP, and get a blood panel done. Get your blood work done 3 times a year if possible, but more importantly, get it done by professionals who know what they're looking at. Now, I recently went to Marek Health. They did a full panel review. After I was done, I had a half an hour panel with one of their professionals. He fully explained my blood work all the way through and what was right and what was wrong and how to fix it. Furthermore, they were actually able to get me set up with an appointment with one of their doctors and get me prescribed the medication I need prescribed. You know, the benefit to this is big. I've been judged by a lot of doctors. I've had family doctors who've judged me for what I want to do in my life. And being a bodybuilder, it's always hard to talk to a regular doctor about what we do and what our goals are. But at Marek Health, there's no judgment. It's completely objective, and they will help you achieve your goals while staying healthy. Get to Marek Health, use code RBP, save some money, but more importantly, get healthy and get a professional to help you out with what you're doing.
Mhm.
And I was doing a technique where we would go all the way out, like on the reverse cable, right? On the reverse crossover. We would go all the way out, but when we came back, we would stop here instead of going all the way across.
Yeah.
You know how normally when you
Hmm.
do a reverse cable crossover, you do this and get a full stretch in the rear delt, and then you pull it all the way out, right? So today I said, let's try something different. Let's keep tension on the muscle the whole way through. So we'll bring it all the way in to about here and then bring it back out. That will keep the tension on the rear delt as much as possible. And we did the same thing for lateral raises. We would bring them all the way down, but keep them about like right here before going back up. We wouldn't
Hmm.
go all the way down between our legs. So it worked really well. We both had a fucking awesome shoulder workout. Obviously, we couldn't lift like the same amount of weight, but the pump and tension afterwards was like
Hmm.
we were both like extremely happy with the training. So
Hmm.
the question arose where on a reverse cable crossover, for example, when you come all the way across, people are taught to go to full range of motion because you want to get the full stretch of the muscle so that you can kind of start lifting when it's in its fully stretched position. Correct? So
Hmm.
so
Yeah.
Paul was like, wouldn't this be more advantageous if we went all the way across? And I said, you know what?
Yeah.
Normally that's what we would do, but today I want to try something different. But also, I feel like when you go all the way across, you're kind of releasing tension from the muscle. But then his counterpoint to that was, yeah, you might be releasing tension, but you're starting from a stretch position, which is better for the muscle. So I'm kind of like trying to have this conversation with him, but neither one of us knows the right answer.
There is, you're not going to get a right answer from me here. You're going to get my kind of thoughts on it, and it's still
Okay,
going to leave you somewhere in the middle, right?
that's okay. I'm just curious what you
Because,
think.
so yeah, look, you have to remember that all of these, everything is moving as a system, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, you're trying to isolate, but So let's use your example that rear delt comes into a full stretch. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, a full stretch still has tension on the muscle, right?
Yes. Yes.
Like you never go so far that those actin and myosin bridges, and that's called a tear, right? So now anything further than a stretch
Agree.
becomes a tear.
Yeah.
So as long as the muscle is still intact, it's still under tension. So
Sure.
the argument then becomes, or the objective then becomes to take that muscle to the absolute maximum point.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Of that, right before anything more, it can't stretch anymore.
Yeah.
Physically speaking.
Yeah.
And then reapply the tension or reapply the lift, right?
Sure.
So if you get to that point, let's say for argument's sake, this is my rear delt is at its maximum length
Stretch
position.
Yeah.
Okay. So what the optimal guys will argue, right, is now if I take it to here, more of that range, so this range from here to here, hasn't come from any further lengthening of the rear delt. It's come from lengthening maybe of the mid trap. There's going to be a little bit from that tricep upper.
Understood. I get it. Yeah. So it's not the rear delt. It's not the rear delt stretching. It's other muscles.
Right. So now it's taken away. Now it's not an isolation movement anymore, right? If you're thinking about just that rear delt, right?
Okay.
So then when you go back into the concentric part of that lift, to get back to this point here, you're first going to engage that mid trap or that upper trap fibers, etc. And then the rear delt is going to start to, or at least it's going to be a contributing portion of it, right?
Okay.
So the argument then becomes, well, what is better? What are you trying to achieve? Because I can see an argument, well, okay, then if I'm now bringing in 3 muscles into play, or 4 or 5, however many that are coming in, I can move more weight.
Yes.
Okay, well, so what then? They're coming off of the rear delt. Well, it's not coming off of the rear delt. If I'm using more weight, I'm still stimulating the rear delt as much as I wanted to, but I'm also now getting some other muscles involved too.
Yeah.
So I do see an argument for, well, if you're trying to bodybuild and grow every muscle that we have in a certain aspect, if you're just trying to put some size on early on, then deadlifting is it's going to engage as much muscle as you can versus a rear delt, right?
Let me interrupt you for a second. So everything you said just kind of light bulb moment went off totally, right? Because like we know, like it's the same thing on the extension. Like we know, like when you do a reverse pec deck, if you go here, that's rear delt. Whereas if you go here, now you've like contracted your rhomboids or something, right? So it's the same thing in reverse. Okay, so totally makes sense. The reason I think why when I was maybe younger, I didn't care and I would go all the way across and wanted to build all 3 muscles was because I wanted to build all 3 muscles. Now that I'm older, I feel like my delts don't contract as much as my traps or rhomboids. So doing this and stopping here actually helped me get more rear delt feel.
I would say in a lot of situations, unless you're working around injuries, imbalances, that minutia of how the physique looks on stage.
Yeah.
I don't see much point in being as isolated as that. If you can move a joint through a better function, through a fuller range of motion that is engaging other muscles, I see a lot of value to that. But then if we're talking about sculpting a physique on stage, now, do we need to be more stable?
The caveat behind it is if you have an overpowering muscle, like my traps and rhomboids are way overpowering to the rest of my shoulder area.
Sure.
So when you have an overpowering muscle, say for like lateral raises, I can lateral raise 80-pound dumbbells, but are my delts doing the work or are my fucking traps doing the work? So that's why when we were doing lateral raises, I would stop like here. That way my trap didn't have it, and I would keep my shoulder girdle retracted. That way my trap didn't have a chance to do anything. So the whole point is I understand your philosophy about you can, I guess, over isolate, but I think if somebody has like an imbalance, like say they have massive triceps and a small chest, I think then finding the ways to isolate might be beneficial.
Yeah, there is that little meathead voice in me that's like, well, if I have strong triceps and a weak chest and I can bench press 405, well, if I can bench press 600 pounds, at some point my triceps have to give up and my chest has to catch up, start playing catch up, right? That's like, if I went 10 years ago, that's like, fuck it. Like, okay, I can squat efficiently, but if I keep adding weight, my legs are gonna get bigger eventually. Like, it's gonna
So let me tell you,
grow.
so let me tell you this. Just I've always had your philosophy in my mind. I'll just say that now, because when I was lifting, I used to say,
Wait. Define my philosophy, because
no,
I
you're
can see, I can
well,
play both sides of that fence.
okay. The philosophy you just mentioned about training multiple muscle
Okay.
groups, I've always
Yeah.
felt that way, because when I used to squat, and this is the example I told Paul today, I said, when you squat and you go lower than 90 degrees to parallel, you're stretching the quad more, but you're kind of taking tension off it. So that when you squat back out of the hole, you're getting more glute ham involved than just quad. Whereas if you stopped at 90 degrees, it would be more quad and less ham and glute. So that was the example I used for him in this same example, right? I'm like, yeah, we can stretch the quad more, but it might not necessarily be better for it in that scenario. Yeah. But when somebody would tell me that in the past, I would always say, it's okay. I'm trying to grow my glutes, my abductors, my hamstrings anyway. So I don't care that I go all the way ass to grass on a squat, because I want to build my entire lower body. But that's why I'm saying now I've noticed when I'm lifting, I don't know if it's because I'm older and my delts don't feel the same, I get a lot of trap and a lot of rhomboid when I'm trying to do any type of delt movement other than pressing. So I have to do these little things to try and fucking
you probably, and this is, you probably put a lot less injections into your rhomboids and your traps than you did your delts as well.
I never did any injections in my traps and raw. Who the fuck does that?
And there are people that are finding places to push it. But
Really?
I do think there is some correlation to injection sites and losing some muscle function for sure.
100%. But my traps have always been overpowering, even from the beginning of my career. It's like one of the So now that I guess my delts aren't as strong, they take over. They take over a lot. So I had to
you can't rely on that. Well, if I'm gonna lateral raise the 100-pound dumbbells, my traps can do 80 pounds of it, then my delts can take over take the other 20.
Okay, well look,
and then we'll just...
the whole point is I'm glad you and I should have figured that out. I don't know why I didn't, but I'm glad you made that distinction, because that makes a lot more sense. The rear delt is pretty much stretched to here, and now we're just stretching out ROMs and traps and everything else.
Yeah, but is it still under tension? Yeah, arguably. Well,
it's like you said, if nobody has an injury or an imbalance, I would say go for it, right?
And another thing to remember, and this gets into the minutiae of it, but so say you go from here out, right? And you perfectly isolate the rear delt. Cool.
Yeah.
If you go to here, bringing it back to here, if you're still able to switch that rear delt on and engage that mind muscle connection as much as you need to, which I believe a lot of these top pro bodybuilders are able to do. Like, you'll look at Branch Warren, right? And if you just showed one of the science crew him training, they'd lose their minds. But I'm telling you now, that guy's feeling everything he damn well does, right?
Okay, but hear me out for 1 second. So back in the day when everything was functioning properly, I would do the full cross and then come out. But if I'm being 100% honest with you, and I don't do slow movements. You've seen me train. So if I go all the way across my body and then I try and come out, I feel like this is almost a snapping motion. I almost get
that's what I mean. If you're creating momentum through that first 6 inches, you can change how you're loading the rear delt then for sure through the rest of the range.
That's what I mean. So today, without having that inertia or momentum, I was able to create more tension by stopping like here.
Right, and that's where the distinction comes in between not just how heavy you're going and how many reps and how much range of motion, but also the execution.
How you're feeling,
how you're engaging that muscle to get from point A to point B.
Yeah,
you have to use the muscle you're trying to develop. So,
hey James, Paul,
hello.
How are you guys?
Hey guys, sorry I'm late.
It's okay. Me and Ben were just solving our rear delt conversation that me and you had
about
Yeah, Ben made it pretty simple and pretty clear. And I didn't even fucking think of it when we were talking about it. You know, when you go, we were stopping here.
Yep.
And Ben is saying, you know, doing this is still tension on the rear delt. But the whole point is when you do this, you're not stretching the rear delt as much anymore. Now you're stretching the rhomboid and other areas.
Okay.
So like basically what we're saying is this is, go ahead.
Once you get a muscle as long as it can get without tearing, then
the next muscle
anything
gets
further
involved.
is coming from further in the chain. Yeah.
You're incorporating other muscles.
James, just so you know what we're talking about, and I won't drag it on because me and Ben have been talking about it for 15 minutes, but me and Paul were training rear delts. Well, we were training delts today. So on our lateral raises and our rear delt exercises, instead of going all the way across the body with a cable and then back out, we were stopping like right here.
Yeah.
And then going back out, and it created a lot more tension.
Yeah.
So then we were having the discussion about, is it better to fully stretch a muscle or is it better to keep the tension on it? But then Ben explained that kind of is full tension or full stretch. Now we're just kind of stretching out more muscles in the back.
Yeah.
So now it kind of
it's like a pull down when you use your lat. If you have your arm dead straight up, shoulder down, lat's fully lengthened. Lifting your shoulder doesn't actually lengthen the lat anymore.
It lynches the teres.
It's everything else. So it's like for your lat to really,
But then I'm also like, fuck it, everything else can grow while it's at it.
Just grow everything.
Yeah. Right.
That's a good example of what Ben was saying earlier. Is sometimes it's okay to stretch out other muscles because you want them to grow anyway.
Especially if you train with like a push-pull principle, because you're kind of like incorporating a lot of the same muscle groups on the same base. If there's a bit of crossover, you're like, oh fuck it.
Yeah,
you know. So like if you do like a high incline press for your chest, but you get a lot of delt. Oh well.
Well, that's one of the examples me and Paul usually talk about is bringing your ass all the way down in a squat. This is going to recruit more hamstring and glute and abductor, but who cares? You're trying to get your whole lower body to fucking grow anyway. Like I'm not trying to just isolate the quad.
Yeah, for sure.
So anyway, we had that's good. I'm glad people can hear that too. So now maybe other people had some trouble with that too. So good explanation. Anyway, James, how are you?
Good.
You are an old man today. How old are you?
34 today.
Oh, baby.
34.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, James.
Happy birthday, James.
Thank you. Appreciate you, boys.
So are you feeling old at all yet, or you still feel young? Actually, this is a more specific question. So I didn't feel my age until I hit about 42, 43. Do you feel your age, or do you still feel like a young guy?
Wow, it depends. Depends what scenario I'm put in. Like around women, I feel like I'm an old man. I've got no chance.
34
like you put me in a room with a bunch of like 25, 30-year-old girls, I'm up. Yeah. But then in other situations, put me in a room full of my friends that are fellas, I feel like a kid again.
It's funny because me and my wife were talking about it, and she said to me, I feel immature for my age, because she's also 44. And I said, I'm like, what do you mean? We own a business, we own a home, we live our life. Like there's nothing immature about it. Like
no.
And she said, I don't think most 44-year-old women are going out on dune buggies in the middle of the desert and like, renting little speedboats and shit. Like we do immature stuff. And I'm like,
that's because they should be.
Yeah,
that's what I said to her. I'm
like, they're boring. They're being boring cunts. So like everyone that's in their 40s now, go and buy a trike, whatever you want to call it, and get to Dubai and do some dune buggies.
I guess that's my point though, James, is like at 34, is there, because I felt like this as a bodybuilder. I'm like, man, all I do is like work out and like eat. And like, this isn't what like a 35-year-old or 34-year-old person does.
I feel like bodybuilding makes me feel old, because you look at how long you've already done it, and then you're like, wow, like this. You look how long you've already done it and how much time has passed doing that, and it's flash. So you're like, shit, if I keep doing this same routine, mundane, I'm going to be 50 before I know it, and then I haven't experienced anything else. That's the thing that kind of scares me sometimes.
That's Paul.
Right here.
Paul, you know you're feeling, bro. Like,
I do. I thought about it before. Like, I'm like, man, I've been doing the same thing for over 30 years.
Yeah, but you love it. You don't regret it.
I do.
We all do.
How many 50-year-olds were there at the Arnold just stood there chilling, getting fucking stoned outside every day? You have it bad.
I worked a little bit too, Ben.
Yeah, but no.
Wow. The judging was a bit iffy there, so let's not do that.
Those were my calls.
But no, but James, we all love it. But Paul, like the difference is this. So James, you want to do stuff like you travel and you want to go to Japan, you climb to fucking mountain, like you do different things. Paul doesn't give a shit about anything. He just wants to, if you told Paul starting tomorrow, he's not allowed to do anything but go to the gym and see his kids and hang out with his wife, he'd be like, as long as I can go to the gym.
Smoke a little weed.
Yeah, he'd be and smoke weed. Sorry,
he's a purist. He's a purist. It's in his DNA.
Yeah,
But-
I'm a creature of habit, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm saying is, Paul, I'm never gonna wake up and call Paul and he's gonna be like, I regret all my years. He's not gonna ever regret it.
Or you're never gonna get like a, hey, Fouad, guess what I did yesterday?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like,
Those are rare moments.
Yeah.
Those are definitely rare moments.
Yeah. I think but then, you know, because the creature of habit kind of thing is something that you feel you have to do when you're doing it because that's where the progress seems to come.
Yeah, but I
You know?
don't think, Paul, do you do it for progress or just because it's something that makes you feel good every day?
I like routine. I really like
Yeah.
routine. I like doing the same thing every day.
Yeah.
I should be a little bit more adventurous, I think. And I'm trying to get out of that shell a little bit as I get
Yeah.
older. But I do love routine.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't think it's just routine. I think you love training. Like, would it be?
Oh yeah.
If it wasn't training, like, what else would it be?
Yeah, it wouldn't be
I don't know. I couldn't
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah.
I don't have any
Um,
other like real passions.
Yeah.
I guess what I meant about feeling older or younger than your age is like when I was 35, I would look back, or 34, or whatever. I would look back. I would look at like my friends,
Yeah, I do.
and they were all putting on like suits to go to an office somewhere and work, or putting on like, you know, they're blue collars workers. They're going to a construction site, working. They had a couple kids at home, and they were taking care of their shit. And I'm like, fuck, man, I don't have any of
Yeah,
that
but
shit.
Fouad, all of my current friends are you lot.
Yeah, but that's got to make you feel great. You're more mature than all of us.
I don't know, but I don't have a friend that puts a suit on and goes to work.
I got some. And
but-
like I
but-
wonder that
But you
because
have
they
that-
do different social stuff, you know? Like they
Yeah.
do like after work drinks and stuff like that, which I never
yeah,
do.
that kind of shit.
I think things are
don't
very
know.
different now, though, as well. In general, like you look at
Yeah.
the how much of the population now like tries to do what we're doing, like, and now the majority of people make me feel old because they make me feel old because I see them all training now very young and making progress very young, and I'm like, wow, God, I didn't know any of that information when I was younger. That's what makes me feel old is I see the rate of progress with younger people now in what we do.
Yeah.
So mine's different. I don't feel old because of that, but I feel old because there's people that are coming up so fast now, and I'm like, shit, I'm gonna be on the tail end before too long.
Do you feel any? Does it make you feel any pride though that you've gone through the fire and you're like you've succeeded? Because I remember feeling like I've been there, done that. So I'm like, yeah, these guys are incredible, but I didn't like.
But you
It
know
almost-
what?
Go ahead.
Sorry, I was
No,
gonna
no.
say I don't envy them because there was a little bit of more freedom to how I remember coming up and learning it, and just
More
now
fun.
it's overthought. It's
Yeah.
overthought. a
Yeah.
lot.
More
Yeah.
flexibility.
And I'm
when
like,
you're
that
younger.
doesn't look fun to me. If you showed me
Yeah.
that when I was 22, I told you to fuck off.
Unless you're the Trend Twins. I love
I
those
was just
guys.
gonna say that, Fouad. I started following those guys. Those guys are awesome. That's what we used to be like.
Those guys remind me of us, and I'm like,
Yeah.
that's how you fucking do it.
You don't see anybody that young doing that anymore.
No.
It's nice to see.
Yeah, it is.
I
What are you laughing at?
need because I'm not sure. I haven't looked into it. The guy I train with here, he brought them up a couple of times because he's around their age. He's like 19 and they're 20 or something, and he's like, "Oh, these guys are great." I haven't looked at them, but just the name. I mean, I've seen like a picture of them, but I've not really followed their stuff to know
Yeah,
whether I want to condone that they're great or not.
I don't.
They're
listen,
hilarious.
I don't follow their stuff, but I took a day and I like went through their shit, and I'm like,
Yeah.
it's just young guys having fun, training like fucking meatheads, and not overcomplicating things. And I'm like, that's
way.
and they're more. And the funny thing is, they're more jacked than half the
Yeah.
guys their age.
I
So,
saw a
like-
video.
Because
they
half
put
the
up-
guys their age are sorry, Paul. Sorry, you first.
No, go ahead, James.
I was just gonna say because half the people are hit their age are doing what Ben's talking about now, where everyone's getting too fucking scientific with it and not enjoying it.
Yeah,
going
yeah.
caught
Therefore,
in
they're-
weeds. Like,
That's what I was gonna
Yeah.
say. Sorry, Paul.
I saw a video the other day. One of them put up, and it was like when your friend buys a new car and he's sitting in this brand new Camaro, and he opens the door and he's sitting there eating chicken and rice.
I love it. Yeah, they're fucking funny, those two, man.
There's a job to do.
Yeah.
Okay, couple things I want. Well, before
Does that
we
mean
move
we
on,
got to sign? Hang on, does that mean we got to sign a couple of kids now? Or are they?
reach out, Ben. Reach out. I think it
Yeah.
would be. Listen,
Ben
those
twins.
guys are for sure fit hostile. They, if they're not ever hostile fucking athletes, they should have been, because they definitely fit that, like,
Yeah.
just fucking train. You know, that's it. Like,
Yeah.
James, what's on the docket for the birthday? Your wife's away in Norway.
Oh, really?
I've been just alone and simple today.
Is there
Just
a lot of,
literally got up, normal breakfast, gone and trained with my training partner, got home, sat down, waited to do this, and just chilling, peace and quiet.
no special nothing? Are you going to get like a special video from the wife? Anything?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Cake?
No, it's just been a quiet day. I just didn't fancy Norway, really. I just thought, well, I'll give it a miss this time, which is a bit sad because two of my friends have gone. So my friend, Louis, one of my old training partners, and his girlfriend, it was meant to be all of us.
Yeah.
And then I was like, the week before, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to stay at home.
Is it probably because you traveled so much? You're probably burnt out.
Traveled and I just got I'm just going through some decisions and stuff with just general life at the minute. And I just want to be able to sit down in quiet and quietly sift my way through these. You know, sometimes you just need a bit of time out, really, from all the activities, I think.
Well, I noticed
get that.
I noticed you put a post up the other day about kind of just over, taking some time to yourself.
Yeah, I spread
do you
myself
wanna-
a bit thin sometimes.
Do you
But
want to get
basically,
into? Do you want to get into any of that?
yeah, it's nothing major, but I start dialogues with people because I'm courteous and I care. So, like, if I start a dialogue with someone and we talk, and then the conversation develops to something that's then becomes a little bit demanding. Sometimes I have the habit of maybe doing that a little bit too much, and then I feel like I'm being pulled in many directions. It's not because I'm a bad person. It's just because my heart wants everyone to be satisfied.
Can you explain what that means? Like, if you have a dialogue with, like, if someone has a problem and they message you,
No, like just a general, like, if like general chit chat can become a conversation that then becomes an idea or a conversation that should be carried on.
Yeah,
it's developing conversation. So I have many conversations going on every day with people that are developing, and sometimes mid conversation, it's kind of got to the point where mid conversation now with a lot of people, I'm like, I just got to rein back for a minute. Hold on, just because I've kind of outstretched all of my mental kind of stamina into all the conversations we have, and I've got no more that I can say right now because I just got to kind of bring it back home a little bit, and that's it really. It's like, it's just a normal thing. I think every now and then you have to do that because the world's so fast now, like with these, and how, bless you, like messages come through thick and thin, and you feel bad if you don't get back to people at a certain time. So I always try my best to be responsive and in depth enough to give people the credit and the time that they deserve. But in that, sometimes you end up spending too much of your energy and concentration, and then you're left with nothing. And I kind of got to that point.
I did exactly this, right? Especially when I first got on the podcast and people would message, right? And I would always like get into I'd always get back, and I really like doing that. But what happens is it just starts stealing away from your own. Like, I'm not very good at being friends with a lot of people.
Me too.
Because I just can't. It's like, to me, I liken it to, when you see the Greeks, they spin those plates on the sticks, right?
Yeah.
That's how I view relationships, and I run out of time to keep them all spinning, and then so I'm like, okay, fuck it, I'm gonna look after 3 maybe maximum, and that includes my own household, and then maybe Fouad and like one or two others, and that's all I got time for. And then I'm fucked. Then my bandwidth is burnt out, and if I try and do anything more, it just takes away from what's core.
Who you are, and you kind of leave yourself in a vulnerable position where you feel unable to move anywhere. You become quite paralyzed. You hit like a paralysis point because you end up actually then getting like a level of anxiety and a kind of because of the guilt of not finishing these conversations with people. And then when you have that guilt in every direction around you, no matter where you turn, you're like, oh, I didn't speak to him, or I didn't finish this conversation. Fuck. Like, I was going to go down to see Jordan yesterday because I had a day off training, so I was going to drive down and drive back. I got all my meals ready, and I was kind of walking around the kitchen, and I just found myself in that paralysis state where I was like, okay, I can't make a decision. I can't go forwards. I can't go backwards. So Jordan, fortunately, is very similar to me. So I just messaged him. I said, Jay, I'm in the kitchen. I froze. I'm dead still. I can't move. I'm not going to make it today. And he's the first. But the thing is, he messaged me back and says, totally get you, bud. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Just having a bit like sometimes I don't get it often, but every now and then it comes. I think it's a normal thing. I hope it's a normal thing. But
I think it's nice to have a friend like that because Paul's like that. We have another friend that's not like that at all. If you change plans or you can't talk, he takes it personally.
Yeah,
I know you're talking about.
Yeah. Whereas Paul, on the other hand, like we'll make plans to do something, and then like the weekend will roll around, like I don't really feel like it, and he'll be like, whatever, I'll hang out with my wife, and we just kind of like, there's no guilt, there's no pressure, there's no.
I wish more of the world was like that and didn't take things personally, because it's never personal.
Yeah.
Because it's not. It's like just that sometimes there's just a lot going on.
Well, I think for me and Paul, I think Paul's the same as I am. Like sometimes we get into our routines. Yeah. And if you make plans to do something out of the routine, and then that day comes, and you're like, oh, I was supposed to go to the mall today. You're like, I don't want to go to the mall. I just want to go to the gym.
That's exactly what I just say.
Yeah.
The thing I get a little bit annoyed when people change plans on me, but it's not because I'm taking it personally. It's because I get anxiety too. So I've spent a week gearing up for that thing myself. I'm like, okay, because it's out of my routine too, right? So then I'm like, okay, this person is gonna come train with me today. Okay, and I've now had to adjust my mental position for a week leading into this, and then they're like, oh, I can't make it now, and I'm like, I didn't have to stress or have anxiety. For
but this is what happens though when Paul does that to me, right? Let's say something comes up. It almost makes me feel less stressed. I'm like, oh, Paul's not coming. I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah, it makes you feel like you've just had a birthday.
Yeah.
But see, I think when me and you
celebration, you're like, oh, brilliant! Now I'm really free because I was prepared.
But with me and you, we don't stress about it for a week. We stress about it the last day or two. Then it's like, oh shit, I made that plan. I forgot. Yeah. But so maybe it's a little different.
I do think a heavy contribution to that is the use of anabolics. For me personally,
you mean the anxiety, like pump?
Just not even an anxiety, but just the heightening of said emotions.
Period.
Just like it makes it amplified, and I think people need to consider that.
James, you're talking about with like starting conversations and then maybe getting anxious because you have to follow through with them, or like I think that's the reason I don't start conversations.
I get it, and I do. It's a defense mechanism. I get it. It's smart.
Like you notice, James. We've been friends for like 2 years.
Yeah, but you're not a starter. You're not like
most of our conversation is just here. Like we talk, we catch up on the podcast.
Yeah.
But it almost feels like it's less stressful that way.
It's true, and do you know what I will add to that? And because I also kind of don't like how we've got to a point where humans discuss most things over written text, which can be misconveyed.
Yeah.
So I've read things before, or I've sent things, and I'm like, I wonder if the person sees it how I feel it.
Yeah.
And often there's a miscommunication, and that's why I get pretty annoyed with how people communicate. And it is sad that we've done that so much. It's like a catch-22. It's like not catch-22. It's like a snowball effect, because once you get used to texting, it's what you do. Then you get like kind of anxious about phoning because you don't phone call anymore, so you don't know what you're doing. But in truth, the phone call would be the best approach.
You can misread a text.
Yeah, man.
But I have noticed, James, you're good at sending voice notes.
I have to, because it feels a little bit more.
No, James is just lazy. That's why he don't want to text.
No, I'll text him. I'll text him, and then I'll get a voice note back, and then I'll text him again because I'm like with Phoenix or something, and then he'll voice note me again.
I can't.
But it is easier.
Yeah, I can't get across like what I'm truly trying to say in words sometimes.
You know what I like?
This setup's the best. I like most jumping on a Zoom call with people.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I want to start using voice text more.
Okay, but let me give you the voice note etiquette, okay? Because people should know this.
Go on.
Their voice note etiquette is you can't leave a voice note that's more than a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, like your voice notes have to be like, I get voice notes for some people that are 2.5 minutes long. I'm like, fuck, man, like this is.
Yep. But you know what I don't like too? Someone that leaves me a voice note but is speaking very softly, and I can't hear them. I hate that. Like, if you're gonna leave me a voice note, speak clearly and loudly.
I've never had that, but it's just your ears because you're older. But
boys, Jordan does that because Jordan like puts headphones on and tries to record, and it's literally like you have to do that. That's
what I'm talking about.
And I'm like,
yeah, I gotta make sure there's no background noise.
I would rather deal with the whisperer than the long voice note guy.
Okay,
Yeah,
so that's the
okay,
so that's bad for you.
I just
What about a
can't.
long list? What about imagine a long one that's whispering? No chance.
I wouldn't listen to it. I wouldn't listen. I'd be like, fuck this.
But yeah, you can really misread the text. That's why I want to start using voice more. I've got no fights with my wife over text because I misread the tone.
Yeah,
I think it's different with a woman though. Like if any of us text each other, I can generally gauge the tone, the joke behind it, the tenor of it. I think with your wife, sometimes it can become tricky.
Yeah, well,
I don't text my wife.
No,
saves himself
for that reason.
Not unless it's just literally like factual stuff, like shopping list here, boom,
Yeah,
or something like that. I'm not getting a text conversation with my wife.
Yeah, Paul's had quite a few arguments just out of miscommunication.
yeah. There was one time I sent her a text. It was a while back, and the kids were small, and I meant to send her a text and say, like, I love you guys, like before they went to bed. And I said that I was like, I love you guys. She texted me back. She's like, LOL, you do? ? And I was like, what are you talking shit to me for? I just said something nice to you. So I called her up. I'm like pissed off. I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you? I just sent you a nice text, and you're like making a joke about it. She's like, read your text back. I'll read it, and it says, I love guys. Instead of I love you guys.
Yeah, see, and it's all that predicted text.
Yeah,
as well.
but wait a minute. If I wait. If I'm your wife and I read that, I'm pretty sure I could figure out that it's supposed to say "I love you guys." Like,
yeah, but my wife's a smart ass, so she took the opportunity to get
shit on you a little bit.
Yeah, but it was funny. She was like, "LOL, you do?" ? And I was like, "What are you talking shit for?"
Yeah. like trying to call you out for something. Like
Yeah.
I saw
my love.
I saw a few interesting things online. I wanted to show you guys. Well, just quickly. It's nothing super special, but it is.
Oh.
Look at this.
He looks crazy, bro. When I saw him at the Arnold, I was like,
that's last year. Last year.
I know it is, but I'm just saying, like, this is last year, and he's been working with Matt, and I'm like, what the fuck are we waiting for? Like, what are we gonna see?
Yeah.
Like, I'm so like blown away at
look at the calves.
everything.
Yeah.
There's literally no weak points. But I mean, his back is the problem, the area I had to bring up. But like, I'm so just
look how fucking big that is.
I'm waiting in it.
Has he picked a show?
I don't know. I'm waiting in anticipation to see this on stage.
Yeah. I wonder if he's gonna do Toronto.
You'd think so.
I mean, I don't know, but whatever
his backyard.
Like, look at him with Samson. Yeah, Samson's like pretty tall. He like I felt short next to Quinton.
Oh, Quint's massive.
Quint's a big old lad.
What I don't know, man, but whatever show he decides to do, it's gonna be
a heartache for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's gonna be trouble for somebody. Like, this is crazy, man. This is 3 weeks ago. Like, he's still he's pretty lean for that fucking size.
Yeah. That's why I wonder if it is Toronto he's getting ready for.
Him and Matt are doing good.
Mm-hmm.
Did he have gyno surgery? Do you guys
looks
know?
like he might have.
Yeah,
did he ever have a gyno problem?
I don't know. I've never seen like this little like dent here. I thought maybe he had surgery. Quint, if you didn't, I apologize.
Yeah, same. Not cute. I said it looks
you
like
always tell him. I want to see the front double more because you can normally tell there.
It's the front double where the nipple goes in a little bit.
Yeah, this is the front double. This is what I mean, it's stupid that we're.
No, it's just out of curiosity, isn't it? It's not actually we're not trying to be fucking arseholes.
I don't recall him ever having gyno.
See,
he probably didn't.
A little bit of dent.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe, but who cares either way? I mean, it doesn't matter.
He's phenomenal. He's
dangerous.
He's very dangerous.
Yeah, he is.
I just want to see what they've been doing for his back, because that was the only issue. Because once he gets that back to match the front, it's going to be
nuts.
A problem.
It's crazy.
Anyway, so what's going on this week, Paul? What's new? You got back from vacation? You went to Florida?
Yep. Yeah, went to Florida with the family. Yeah, took the wife and kids. Well, yeah.
Whereabouts in Florida?
Whereabouts? Kissimmee. Right outside of Orlando.
Yeah.
Yeah, just 4 days there. We had an Airbnb with a pool and stuff. So it was nice to spend a few days in the sun.
Did you have any tiramisu?
No, I didn't. No, I tried to stay on my diet somewhat. I bought some chicken when I got there and rice. Made some of that. But I did eat a lot of junk food too. A lot of cookies.
Wait, could I hear Fouad pronounce that again? Go on. What the fuck did you say?
Tell him, Paul. Tell him what it's called. Me,
Apparently I mispronounced tiramisu. It's tiramisu.
Yeah, tiramisu.
yeah, me and
Yeah,
Paul,
I thought it was tiramisu.
me, Paul, and
Sounds like an Indian dish.
Yeah.
and he's
Doesn't it?
Italian. He's
Sounds
fucking
like curry.
Italian.
Yeah. But we never eat. My mom never made that shit, so I never had it.
But isn't tiramisu Italian?
Yeah, I
think
think
so.
it is actually. Yeah, it's like
Wait,
it's
I
like
thought
a
it was
mocha
fucking
cake, isn't it?
French. Where did Italian come from?
Well,
doesn't-
okay, let me clarify.
He doesn't identify with his half French side.
I don't know anyone on that side, so I don't recognize my French side. I only know my mom's side, so and they're all Italian. So
I don't know them, so I don't recognize them.
I think he just.
I mean, I shouldn't say I don't recognize them, but I don't consider myself. I was brought up by an Italian family.
I think
So-
he thinks being Italian is cooler than being French, so he just
Yeah,
says
no
I'm
one says
Italian.
it's cool.
Wait.
That's part of it for sure.
Where were you? You were raised in Italy then, or in Canada?
But I was raised in Canada. My mom's from Italy. My mom moved here when she was a kid. But I grew up very by Little Italy when I was a kid.
And he grew up
Little
eating
Italy,
pasta.
Spencer.
He grew up by Little Italy.
Oh,
I did.
okay. So no.
For my first 5
I get
years,
it.
go ahead.
I get it. You're Canadian. Cool.
You did not
Yeah.
grow up by Little
I'm
Italy,
Italian
you
Canadian.
fucking liar.
I did. I grew up right by Erie Street, close to
Wait a
Ottawa.
minute.
But,
I thought you grew up on Riverside.
okay, well, when I was 5, I moved to Riverside. In my first 5 years, we lived right near.
5 years you don't remember.
Guys, just so
Yeah,
you-
right.
Wait,
Those are the
just-
formative years.
Wait, just so you guys know, Little Italy in Windsor is literally one street with like 6 restaurants on it. That's it. It's not like some major like Italian hub. It's
It's famous.
It's not famous.
Famous
It
in
is
Canada.
now.
Anyway, so yeah, it was me, Paul, and Ron Parlow at the Arnold, and we were having like a meal after one of the nights he was done judging. And he's like, I'm gonna have some tiramisu. I was like, what the fuck did you just say?
I was like, what?
I wanted some dessert. They didn't have much on the menu, so I was gonna try that. But
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, and this psychopath orders vanilla ice cream
Yeah.
just straight on its own.
that's my go-to. Yeah, I love vanilla ice cream. I love
James,
vanilla shakes the most.
James, would you ever order just vanilla ice cream for dessert?
Ben, sorry, but yeah, I've done it a few times.
See,
Wait,
James knows.
wait,
See, I don't need to be all fancy.
Jay, no. Hang on, context. We walk into a restaurant, nobody's eating. He's like, "Oh, I'll have a." I'd ordered a drink. Paul's like, "Oh, I'll take a bowl of ice cream, thanks." Like it wasn't.
Oh, so just like a
It
random.
wasn't.
I had just
dessert.
had dinner. I had just had dinner.
He ordered a bowl of fucking ice cream in a bar.
and also, James, just for context, that was like the third time me and him had gone out, and every time all he ordered was dessert.
So you just like ordering desserts. He's got a sweet tooth, man. Come on.
I do have a sweet tooth.
Exactly.
Because
Gotta
just the
cater to
timing
that.
was there. I'd already had dinner
When
just a little while ago.
me, him, and Ron went out, we're like, let's figure out what to eat. So he looks at the menu. He's like, there's nothing real on here I want. He gives it back to the guy. And then he's like, I'll have some strawberry shortcake. So he brings him fucking dessert. Me and Ron are eating like a burger, like a meal. And he's sitting there eating fucking dessert.
Because I just had dinner with Rudy right before I met up with you guys.
Maybe it's because
He's after those fast carbs.
Yeah.
Oh, that was fucking hilarious. There's fans coming up to him going, "Hey, you got sugar in that coffee?"
Love it.
Yeah, when I was going back to the judges' table with my coffee in my hand.
That's
brilliant.
hilarious.
That's awesome. I like that.
So, you came back from Florida. Anything else? Anything new? Anything good while you're there?
In Florida?
Yeah. Anything fun?
It was nothing special really. We just spent some time with the family, which was nice.
It was more for the kids than anything.
Yeah, it's March break for them, so they're home. But then my oldest daughter got sick the last day we were there. She's still not feeling right, so that kind of put it down.
Stomach bug or flu?
Yeah,
or...
stomach. Yeah.
I've heard the water there. I bet you shouldn't drink the water in Florida.
Well, I bought a case of bottled water. We had an Airbnb, so we had a kitchen.
Cool.
So we were drinking bottled water the whole time. I don't know what it was. Probably being in public park. We went to this one public park, public pool, and that. Who knows where she might have caught something.
How bad was it during March break there? For like, was it just a ton of fucking kids?
Yeah. That day we went to that public park with the pool and shit. It was fucking busy.
That would be the worst.
Yeah,
that would be the worst part of being a parent for me. I don't think I could handle that.
Yeah, that is the worst part. Well, that's why I was glad that we had an Airbnb with a pool, so we could go back there and chill in our own pool.
Yeah.
So that was cool. But yeah, the kids like the water slides and shit though.
Yeah. Ben, go ahead. What were you gonna say? Disney?
Oh no, we were
Oh.
having it. We were having this exact fucking conversation the other night out on the back porch. We were looking at maybe going to Mexico because I got my green card now. Like, how do we take 3 or 4 days from Texas to as a quick, easy vacation holiday? Sorry, James, holiday. And then she was like, "Yeah, well, Carter gets off school in July," and I'm like, "Ah, fuck, we have to go out of term time." Bollocks! I've never had to
Yeah.
I want to go when it's quiet and no cunts there, and then
Yeah.
Well, part of the problem is my wife's job only allows her to go away March break and Christmas time and the summertime. So those are all the peak travel seasons.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
That sucks.
I've been fortunate that way, man. I traveled the last 2 times I went on vacation was January and February. It was fucking dead
yeah.
everywhere, which is awesome.
Last
And
Well, you know what was the best trip we ever did as a family? We went to Mexico last year and it was still kind of COVID.
Yeah.
We went during the last Christmas. So it was nice because like the resort we went to was new and it was like maybe half full at the most. So it was great.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I missed some things about COVID.
yeah,
Yeah. There was
that was a pro.
I like
Yeah.
I like driving around, having everybody else at home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No-
in
no
England it was
traffic.
good because it's so busy here and the roads were so clear. It was lovely.
Yeah, same with here.
So nice, so nice.
Ben, what's going on with you? Anything new before we move on to questions?
no, we just seem to be going.
Wait.
This
Sorry. This is important because of you. I wanted you to touch on this real quick.
What's Ben done now?
No. He's nothing.
I'm not touching it on camera.
Oh, I saw this morning. A 282
Oh,
lean
Oh,
fucking
Hunter's been looking
Hunter.
good. Yeah.
Big old arms and shoulders, lad. That
was
front
like-
lat spread's sick.
He's got a vacuum going here. Fucking everything looks full and striated still at
It's-
282.
I noticed that picture when he was training with you, James, too, like a couple weeks ago.
Oh, he was full of
Sick.
Yeah, he's thick, man.
you know, it's he's in a really good position right now. Like, he's still hungry. We're just about feeding him enough. He's really not running anything at all, and they've been pretty clear since the Olympia. So when he starts his prep, he's going to be very, very fresh. But he's just putting on good weight. He's really
Look at that.
nailing down. He's really nailing down the midsection control.
Look how good that back lat spread looks.
Yeah. He seems
Back-
like he's really hungry right now.
I think back double could
Yeah.
still use a little bit more size, but this back lat spread looks like you're starting to see the fucking lats come out, the lat thickness come out here, the rhomboid
Yeah.
split. Like it's fucking it's nice.
Yeah.
If you talk about people being deceptive, like, he's deceptively thick.
Oh no, I know that
Um,
for sure. I know when I've seen him in person, I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
very thick.
He's so wide. He's so wide and thick.
Look how flat the
He-
stomach is for fucking off season, man.
Yeah, mine ain't like that.
I mean,
Fuck, he
it's
looks
not
good.
often you get a bodybuilder this big doing a side tricep.
Yeah.
well, it's
He looks way. This is the best I've seen him look.
You know what, man?
Yeah,
Sometimes not getting things to go your way is the best form of motivation.
Yeah.
We
often is.
we had
Shows character bounce back from it.
yeah, him and I had a good conversation a few weeks back. So it was a good conversation. It was a tough conversation. It was a real heart-to-heart conversation, and we got a lot of things ironed out, and he got a lot of things figured out for what he really wants to do with things. So I think you're seeing a very motivated and disciplined guy right here. This is-
It looks like
It's good to see.
looks like a very motivated hunter. And yeah, you're right, Paul.
Yeah.
You know what? It takes a lot of fucking balls to be like, you know what, I didn't fucking do what I should have done, and then change all your shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's
Especially-
gone from, according to Ben, he's gone from fucking, drinking his meals to eating his meals. And we saw him at the
Mhm.
Arnold carrying
Mhm.
around his fucking meals. Like, he wasn't
Especially
There's a
buying,
lot of things I've seen since that Olympic. I honestly think it'll be a very good thing retrospectively in 10, 20 years
Yeah.
time. He's like that. It was that point there, that
Yeah.
year, that it didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't go like he had planned, and everything up to that point had always got better for him, right?
Mm.
It always just fallen into place for him, and now I'm like, you need to find something extra now.
You know what? Look, this is the thing. People forget this about Hunter, and I feel like they don't give him enough credit, and they don't cut him enough slack. This is Hunter's like 6th fucking show. Like,
Yeah.
he has barely competed.
10.
How many is 10?
10. Yeah,
that's nothing.
his
Yeah.
Still fuck all. I've done triple that.
Think about
He's third Olympia was his 10th ever show.
but this is my point.
Wow.
Think about it. The guy's first Olympia was 9 shows in or 8 shows in, and he takes 4th.
Yeah.
Like it took me 8 shows to fucking just turn pro.
That's like phenom status, but
Yeah,
he doesn't get the credit for it.
So it's like I feel like people sometimes don't understand, like he's still fresh, he's still new, he's still got a long way to go. And I think because this is the other thing people don't understand is like, oh, he drinks his fucking shakes and drinks his meals. If you're drinking your meals and you end up 4th at the Olympia, keep drinking your fucking meals.
Right.
Like, don't be like, oh, that guy drinks his meals. I'm like, he's 4th at the fucking Olympia. Like, keep doing what you're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
But what happened was he kept doing what he was doing, and then it kind of backfired on him the second time around. So then he's going to make changes, but that's what people do. You make changes when something's not working anymore.
Yeah. But this thing, and the beauty of what you just said is, I know that, and he knows that.
Yeah.
And he has very thick skin to a point. And I did have this conversation with him. I said, like, as thick as your skin is, and he bounces off of him. Yeah. I said, it has to get to you at some point. And he's like, yeah, of course, man. Like, what the fuck do you think? Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't
like
think
he
this
lives.
Is just, but for me, I don't feel like this is just because of other people's comments. I feel like he probably stepped on stage, took 7th, which is still incredible. But he probably looked at his physique and thought, I can be better than this. And that's that. I don't think it's other people's commentary or people commenting on Instagram. I think he knows he can be better.
Yeah, it's not the placing that hurt him. I think it's the fact that he didn't like it was not where you need to be.
But that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay, you're right. The placing's not. I mean, he knows he can be better. That's kind of my point. Was.
Yeah.
So
but he seems to be channeling it in the right way right now, though.
I love seeing that, man. He's just all of a sudden come back on fire, and he's like, I'm gonna fucking live up to my potential.
Yeah,
which is fucking great. Yeah. So anyway, sorry, Ben. Before I cut you off, what were you were going to say something about this week? Anything new?
No, nothing. No, we keep going through this cycle of we're going to extend the gym, and then we took ourselves out of it, and we're going to extend the house, and so that's what we're going to do now. So that's about as exciting as stuff gets.
It's life, man.
Yeah,
that's life. I'm exactly the fucking same.
Yeah,
with loads of shit.
Since James touched on this, what's up, James?
Look at the width. Look at the sheer mass.
Slanging and banging weights. No fucking complicated shit in my world.
that picture you put up with you and Cedric too, Fouad. You look pretty big in that picture, like in the old days.
This was the biggest I think I ever hit, and the best haircut I had too. See how much hair I got there, Paul?
Yeah, I know. It looked good on you. What year was that?
This is 15.
15. Is that the year when you're living in Toronto?
Yeah, this was 2 years after I left you, and I got much better.
Yeah, well, I built the foundation, and then you took it to the next level there for a little while, but then we honed it all when you came back.
Once I left Paul, my body just exploded with size.
It was the better gym you were at. It wasn't the lack of a training partner.
Yeah, no, you were huge there.
That was John's work, man. John was able to pull us back. And me and Paul trained a little bit.
What year did you start with John?
13.
Remember the year, Fouad? I think you were getting ready for FIBO.
Yeah.
Yeah, you won. Did you not?
That was that year.
They canceled it.
That was that year. That was me. Me and Cedric were both getting ready for FIBO, which was I think that was about, I want to say 5 or 6 weeks from those photos.
Okay, that was the best you'd ever looked. It was so bad that they canceled that show.
Yeah, but then that was when I did Orlando 2 weeks later, and I won my first pro show.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and I flew up for that.
They canceled FIBO, right? So I get the FIBO, and they cancel it. I ate garbage for a week straight. because I was angry. I'm like, fuck you. I dieted.
Yeah, fuck bodybuilding.
I dieted for 12 fucking weeks. You canceled the fucking show. So I was pigging out for 5 days straight. I get home. I send John pictures. I'm like, hey, Orlando's in 2 weeks. He's like, you weigh 284 pounds.
We got a lot of work to do.
I put on fucking 24 pounds or something like that, or 15 pounds in the week that I was in Germany.
Fuck.
So John's like, get your fucking ass.
All that German schnitzel, mate.
Yeah. Do you think you would look better? You think you would look
No.
better at FIBO if it
No,
would have went
be-
ahead?
No,
You think it
because
looked better?
this has happened to me with Chad before. I've pigged out. Chad's like, just go home and eat one meal. And I go home and eat like for like a whole day. And I'm like,
Yeah, you think fine.
I'll message Chad and be like, hey, I ate way too much. He's like, it's like, start doing the fucking step mill. I'm like, all right. But then what happens is I don't have to load up as much.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
I don't
you still stay relatively full from it.
Yeah, so then my waist used to stay a little better because I was already full from all the food I ate. Like
No loading, yeah.
yeah, so
I've done that. I've done that with a few guys, especially if they've been early.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
their show got pushed back. And I've actually got Carl, one of my guys. At the minute, he competes in a qualifier in like a week, and his condition is very, very good. And I'm just going to let him eat pretty hard after the show and give him that reset for the rest of the prep. And I think it'll improve his look.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
look,
you can do this.
just so people understand. So I think I was 270 or 265 or something like that in those photos. And I got home at 280, 285, somewhere in there. So I must have put on 15 or 20 pounds. But that's not fat.
That's just retention.
There's no way you'll gain that
It was
much
water,
fat.
it was water, glycogen, and stomach contents. So
What? How quick did you pull the 20 pounds back off?
it was gone. It was gone in a week. Because Orlando was 2 weeks, I think, after I got home. And within a week of doing the step mill twice a day, I was back to where I was like before I left for FIBO.
Yeah.
So it's just, that's what people need to understand too. It's when you weigh 250 pounds plus, it's easy to retain 10 pounds of water. Like James, if James starts pigging out all day, he'd be 20 pounds heavier tomorrow.
Yeah, it'd be
Right,
over 300 easy. Yeah.
And you got so much muscle mass that you're having so fast. The next day or two, it's going to come off.
Well, the thing is, it's just water retention, right? So once you
Yeah.
start eating clean again, your body's going to flush it all out. It's like,
Yeah. Especially when you're in a depleted state like you were at that point.
yeah. So anyway, okay, let's do.
What about you? What's going on with you? No, fuck you. Don't get too. Yeah.
Nothing's going on with me, dude. I'm working my ass off. We have an entirely new plan for HOSSTILE this year, and I'm working my ass off at getting some new things set up. So we're going to be launching a lot of new products, and it's just sometimes getting the first product out the door and getting a new sometimes getting a new supplier set up just takes time.
Yeah.
But once that supplier's set up, then things start to fucking roll. So I'm really looking forward to May through the end of the year. We're gonna have a lot of new shit going on. That's my days are spent. I wake up every day. I go to my gym and I sit in the gym and I work on new shit for HOSSTILE for like 3 or 4 hours.
Carbon fiber fenders and.
I did buy some motorcycle stuff in the process. Yeah, I got a motorcycle buying habit that's gotten a little bit out of control. But I gotta have a hobby. Everybody's got a fucking hobby.
Oh, for sure.
And plus, modifying a motorcycle is a lot cheaper than modifying a car. So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
It's warranted.
No, nothing new, man. Just I feel like sometimes I was going to ask you guys about this. Sometimes the biggest problem I had with my life before about 2 or 3 weeks ago is I couldn't find the right rhythm.
Yeah.
Like I've gotten into a rhythm in the last 3 to 4 weeks where I'm like, I wake up, I go to I'm almost like intermittent fasting. I told Paul, like I don't eat till like 2 o'clock every day, and I go and I get work done before then. And I feel like once you get into a good rhythm, you can actually get a lot of things done.
Yeah, you get into a productive mode.
Rhythm is everything.
I noticed when you turned up at Ohio, like one of the first things you said to me was like, I'm an owner now. I'm not a bodybuilder anymore. And I think your mindset adjusted.
Yeah, I think accepting that my bodybuilding, which is people are probably going to hear this and think I'm fucking stupid because I retired like 2 years ago, but I think accepting the fact that I'm just not going to be a bodybuilder anymore was a big step forward.
It's a big transition.
It's hard, man. It's hard.
Yeah, I'm sure any athlete would relate to that.
But it's not about.
Do you think?
Go ahead. No, people.
Well, I was gonna maybe.
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, do you think some of that has also? I might be way off here. Where Samson has started to step into where he's at, that's allowed you to go, okay, he can be the face of, like, I don't have to be the man anymore, right? You've kind of passed that torch onto him a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that was the plan. That was the plan from the beginning of HOSSTILE. Is I knew, like, even when we started it, and I was still bigger. I was still like 285 or something like that when we started HOSSTILE. But I knew I was 40 fucking years old. I'm like, this isn't going to last forever. I got to find, Hostile is not about me. It's about the company. So I got to find somebody to fill that gap because I'm not going to be there anymore. Right. Like some companies, when you look at them, they're clearly based on somebody. Like if you look at like Axe and Sledge. Yeah. Axe and Sledge. When you think Axe and Sledge, immediately you think Seth.
Mhm.
Right. So my plan when I started Hostile was for the company not to be about me. So when Samson started, first, to be honest, it was Nick. I was like, when Nick came along, I'm like, okay, cool. This can I can push this along. But then that didn't really work out. And Samson's really stepped up. So it's like, okay, and then when Samson's kind of stepped into that place at the Olympia, I was like, all right, fuck, I can not worry about it anymore. We're going to give this to the athletes now.
I remember us having those conversations.
Yeah. It's
frequently.
It's a big thing, man. Cause like, you're trying to run the company and the pressure's on your shoulders of like getting it out there and making it notable. And
it's a lot of pressure, I'm sure.
Yeah. And when you have a world-class athlete step up, then you're like, okay, cool. I can give some of this pressure to that person.
Yeah. Sometimes things just kind of work themselves out, if you stay on the right path.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what's going on. Nothing new. Work. Trying not to be fat. I've lost some weight.
Put some weight back on, lost some weight again.
What did you weigh? 260? Around 260, 259, right? Around there.
Cool.
I said to Paul today, I said, I can't below 260. My body just doesn't want to do it unless I starve myself.
Unless you stop training.
Yeah.
But 260, you look good at 260 foot.
Not yet. No, I don't.
Well, just don't take it off.
I got some work to do.
Good in a jumper. Look good in a sweater.
You look good in a jumper.
That's right. Yeah.
He just showed us a picture of when he was like 260.
Yeah, that was
back in Paris. Like,
yeah. All right, let's do some questions. If you guys would have started bodybuilding at age 35, would you have made it to the pro level? And how long do you think it would have taken you to turn pro?
I'm out.
I can answer that because I started my second bodybuilding career around that age.
Yeah, you started it back up.
I started back up after a 10-year hiatus. I had a 10-year hiatus and then I got back into it. But no, I probably could have, but I wouldn't have been a good pro.
Okay, so what's the answer then, Paul?
What was the question?
Would you have made it to the pro level, and how long would it have taken you if you would have kept going?
Okay, I can definitely answer that. Nowadays, you definitely could because there's so many avenues of turning pro. But back in those days, I probably couldn't have. Back in those days, that's when we had like one pro qualifier in Canada. Now there's like so many you can do.
I'm going to say something that people might ruffle some feathers, but I don't think it's a good idea to start bodybuilding and try and be a successful professional pro bodybuilder at 35. I think if you want to be an influencer, you want to start a YouTube channel, you want to that's cool. You can start at 35, but I think if you're trying to be James, I don't think starting at 35 is the right course of action.
I think unless you have revenue and stability financially, then you shouldn't. Because you're going to sacrifice, because it is sacrifice, as you know, that's the whole point of the motto behind Hostile. You'll start, if you have no financial security at 35 and you put it all into bodybuilding, it doesn't work out, you're fucked.
Well, also, James, if you're 35, you might have a wife, you might have kids. You're gonna sacrifice.
There's a lot to lose.
Yeah.
Bodybuilding is kind of bodybuilding. In essence, is kind of a young man's game in the beginning.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, because
especially if you didn't have a base, like Paul said, he took a break. Especially if you didn't have a base, if you're going into this cold from something else.
Yeah. Well, the other thing I think too, guys, is let's say you're 35 and you're like, you know what? I've never trained before. I want to be a pro bodybuilder. First of all, the chances of you becoming a successful pro are very slim. But second of all, even if you have a great physique, starting at 35 is like, you're actually starting at the time where your body's at its most vulnerable. Because if it takes you 3 to 5 years to turn pro, if you're that good, like let's say you're an Andrew Jacked and you turn pro in 3 to 5 years, now you're kind of pounding away with orals and different drugs and things at 40 years old.
At a time where it's a little more dangerous.
At a time when it's probably not the best for you.
Yeah, your body's a little bit less recuperative, isn't it? A little bit less able to rejuvenate from some of those stresses that occur from bodybuilding.
Yeah.
So perhaps it's not the wisest thing to do. I'm not saying it's impossible because, like you say, Andrew or someone comes along, but
Yeah.
that's one in a million.
Yeah.
I
He's
think-
got genetics of
literally.
1 in a million.
I think if I was going to answer the question honestly, I'd say if you love the industry, I would train, maybe try and be a coach if you can develop that skill, or maybe start a YouTube channel. Maybe you can develop that avenue somehow. But like to actually be a top Olympian or make money in the sport is, like you said, like James said, is 1 in a million, man. When you start at that age.
It's so competitive in the pros. Like to build a world-class physique like that takes years.
I hate to be the guy dissuading people from pro bodybuilding or from but I'm just trying to be as honest as I can be.
I wouldn't dissuade them from bodybuilding, because
No, I'm
bodybuilding
not.
is a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Crap. Like, yes, there's a lot of things.
Bodybuilding's a
in there
way, and everyone could be. You can all live this way, but to expect to be top Olympian level within, a 5-year period of being 35, that is it's just unrealistic.
Yeah.
Speaking of everybody bodybuilding, I got a message from a trans woman yesterday who was extremely mad at me.
I saw.
I think I missed that.
She was extremely mad at me because I don't know, I said something that wasn't very sensitive towards trans women.
I know what you said, and it wasn't even that bad.
I don't think it was that bad either.
What'd you
It
say?
weren't. It was
Well,
just
this
saying
is-
it for what it is. It was saying it for what it is.
Okay, so I don't want to go over this again, but I'm just going to say what I said, just so somebody in the comment section could correct me if they want to. This is me saying it objectively. I'm not trying to make fun of anybody. So I said that if you were a woman and you had a trans surgery, that meant that they were going to fill in your hole, like your vagina.
Well, yeah, they would have to, wouldn't they?
And then this person got mad at that, and I'm like, well, what are they doing with it? Is it still there?
Yeah, just out of curiosity.
Yeah, I'm literally like, I don't know.
You're just trying to explain it in as little words as possible without going too deep into the subject.
Because
So
I
what's
don't
the
know
correct
about
answer?
the subject.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to go to the intricacies. You're just trying to say, in layman's terms,
Yeah. I'm just curious.
soft, just soft. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, like what happens to it? So
I've
what
watched,
was- what was the answer?
I've watched what they do the other way as well. I've seen the procedure.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, man. It's
James
crazy.
watched the whole thing.
Really?
watched the
So what do
whole
they do,
thing, man.
James?
They slice that penis right down the middle, and they take the nuts. They put them
No
up into
way.
the body so they become where the ovaries would be. They put the penis inside. It's crazy, man. They trim
Okay,
it down
but-
a little bit.
What about the opposite? What if it's turning a woman into a man?
I haven't seen that one.
Oh,
Need to see that one.
Oh,
That's next
my-
episode.
My eyes are. Give me my eyes water there. Fuck that.
hey, each your own.
I might have seen the other way around, but maybe like a long time ago. I'm trying to think.
Anyway,
I wonder what they would do in that
Listen,
situation.
I'm not going to look it up. The point is, that's what I said. And then the person got mad.
No, wait. Sorry. I have seen the other way around.
Okay.
Oh, really? So
Yeah.
And what happens?
I'm pretty sure they take where the clitoris is and they kind of cut it off at the nerve, keep the nerves, and then they put it out like a nipple. Then they build with the labia and all the skin, the penis shaft around it. Like, yeah, I have seen it.
But what did they do with the
it's fascinating.
the hole? Did they close it? Did they?
Yeah, it's
How
sealed shut because you turn the skin into a cylinder.
So I
How do they
wasn't. So I wasn't fucking wrong then.
No, you were totally right.
How do
So
they
what the
make
fuck is
balls?
this person mad at?
I
How do they
don't know
make
on that
balls?
one.
How do they make balls?
I would have to watch again. I will watch it. I'll go on it later and see.
I can
Anyway.
almost guarantee that this person is going to watch this bit and be like, "You just made it way worse."
I
We're
don't
just
know
curious.
because
Like
we're
you
No, no.
you have
Okay,
done
so-
nothing to.
okay. Time out.
Wait,
No,
Wait a
I,
second.
no,
They
no,
want us to
no, no.
understand?
I'm not saying you're wrong. What I'm saying is you're fighting a losing battle.
Okay,
This person, no
that's
matter
fine.
what, is going to get mad at
We don't lose
whatever you
battles.
say.
Well, then why
That's
do they
fine.
watch?
Wait. That's fine. But let's just say that person is watching. I'll say this: if somebody knows nothing about Arab culture, and they start assuming things like, do all Arabs wear fucking head wraps, or do all Arabs wear a long dress like the guys do, or do all Arabs hold hands like the men hold hands sometimes when they're walking? You could ask me that shit. You
Not
can,
But you wouldn't be like,
Yeah.
that's offensive.
I wouldn't
Right.
be like, oh, fuck you. You don't know what you're talking about. I'd be like,
Right.
okay, ask me so I can inform you, and then we can all laugh together.
Right.
Right. Like
Humor is all we're here for. Like everyone's to just have a
But I
laugh and
feel
be
like-
able to talk about every subject.
I feel like this
Yeah.
is the problem with like race and culture and these things. Like, okay, cool. Maybe I said something insensitive. Let's talk about it. Tell me why it was wrong. Because I even said to the person when they messaged me, I said, what did I say that was wrong? Like, what did I say that was offensive?
Right.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, you only care about yourself." I'm like, "What are you talking? What are you talking
No.
about?"
You're like, you're right. You're like, you're right. But what did I say that offended you?
No, but what I said to them was, "Look, we make fun of everybody on this fucking show. We make fun of fucking race.
Rightly so.
We make fun of fucking
Ourselves.
culture. We make fun of each other.
Right.
Like everything, everybody in every group gets shit on." I said, "You're only upset because this is your specific group."
Yeah, if there's another group, you'd laugh.
And then the person said, "Well, I don't laugh at the racial jokes either." And I'm like, "What are you watching the show for then?"
Well,
Right.
that's what
There's
everyone
nothing
comes here
else.
for. Right?
The odd training tip.
but see, I remember this because I'm like, well, we aren't like you asked, and I said, well, definitely the girl to the boy transition would be my option rather than the boy, right? I answered it and addressed it like it's a normal thing. Surely it would be more offensive if I'd have answered and gone, that wouldn't happen. I'm not doing that. That doesn't.
Yeah,
I don't want
right?
to even.
If you said,
Yeah, right?
if you said, "Oh, I would disown my," then you'd be
Right.
Yeah.
There's so-
Right.
We just like to cover a large variety of subjects and actually honestly answer.
Yeah, it's foreign to us, so we're just trying to learn.
I mean, look, if people get offended, I'm not saying this as an apology. I'm just saying I don't know what the offense is about. We don't actually dislike trans people. We don't dislike gay people. We're having an honest discussion. And I honestly, when I said they just fill in the hole, that's what I thought they do. I'm not like trying to be fucking ignorant. I'm like,
It's
and then
because the person's
What do you-
picturing you. So like someone's
what were you
picturing
gonna?
you coming
Don't
up.
say what you're gonna say.
What did you think they used to fill it with?
This is what I'm going to say. They're picturing someone coming along with a fucking what do you put cement on?
Palette knife.
They think he's like someone's going to come along with one of them, get a little bit of cement, and just go like it's on a brick,
Like a
and then
spatula.
pat it shut. Yeah,
No, that's not what I thought. That's not what I thought.
And then
I
sanding
thought-
out the corners.
This is what I thought before James said anything. I thought they must turn the lips in and sew it up like a zip.
but then you ain't got no cock.
Well, no, but then they put a cock on it.
Just
But
put a cock on it. What, like,
Just-
so wait, like you
This
you buy the
drawer
cock
of
separately?
cocks over here.
What are you
Yeah,
Just
laughing
come
box.
in the cupboard.
What are you
they're
laughing
frozen.
at?
They got a box of cocks. They just
Well,
give me one of those.
how do they make a
Dong,
cock then?
and then
I
just
don't know.
staple
How
it
do they
around
make-
the bottom.
I want to know how they make the balls.
Should
You
we
have
look
to
it
use existing. You have to use existing materials to make the cock feel like. You can't just get one and slap it on.
I wonder
Home
with
Depot.
like 3D printing.
It'd have no
nowadays.
sense. It would feel nothing because it'd have no connectivity to the nervous system.
Hmm.
Be like just strapping on a strap on.
Yeah.
James seems to be far more well read on this than he lets on.
up?
So I consider these things. You know,
Phalloplasty.
what if I ever want to change?
Here, wait. Let's just read it. Let's read it together. Let's read it together.
Janine,
Phalloplasty creates a penis and urethra to stand while urinating. We use tissue from the forearm or thigh.
wow,
Really?
that's interesting.
Wow. Fascinating.
Wait, these are two different things. Metoidoplasty takes your existing genital tissue and makes it longer.
That's the
turning
one
it
I've
into
seen. That's the
a
one I've seen.
defined phallus. So people shouldn't be offended. It's like if you don't know something about somebody, just ask. And that's what the message
If-
should have been. Hey,
Mhm.
your commentary was a little insensitive. And when I said what was offensive, instead of saying I'm selfish or whatever, that person should have responded and said, well, this is offensive. This is not how it's done. And then I'd have been like, okay, cool. Maybe explain it to me and we can
Right.
talk. Like it's just
Right.
just talk it out. Like, and then after I know if we make a joke, it's not malicious. Like you
No,
know,
There's never anything malicious behind the jokes.
like James is the
Yeah.
most racist guy in the podcast, and he's not actually racist.
oh mate, but I'm like, because I like to joke about everything. Like I've had illnesses and sicknesses and weird things in the past that I would take the same piss out of as I would with other people and our differences. Because I'm always closer with people for being different. Because I like that we have things different about us that we can
Yeah.
essentially
Mhm.
discuss, but also laugh at.
Yeah.
Like I love when my friends are something completely different and I can like literally take the piss out of them. It's just fun. That's
Yeah.
just the way I am. And if people don't like that, then just don't be my friend. It's fine.
Yeah, that's
Cool,
kind
you
of
don't
like
have to be. You don't have. Yeah, you don't have to like me. It's just it is what it is.
okay, good.
I've got a good heart. I know that, and I would help anyone if they're in a struggle. But I can have a laugh.
That's you know what, James. That's how I've always seen it. When someone says that person's racist or that person's sexist or that person's, I'm like, does the person have a good heart?
Yeah.
Do they
That's what
actually?
matters.
Do they actually mean like? Do they actually mean to do you harm when they say something?
Like the intent.
Like, yeah, the intent behind their words. Like, are they?
Intent is everything,
Well,
right?
and like one thing with like race, yeah, like, and this is not me going too deep or anything, but I've watched a lot of films where race is the comical factor of the films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've grown up watching films like Rush Hour, where you've got Chris Tucker taking a piss out of Jackie Chan because he's speaking. I don't understand, Chinese, even though he's speaking English, which is fucking hilarious. And then he's like, I don't understand you because you're speaking whatever. Like, that's funny, man. That is
Like
fucking funny. We can all relate to it.
Blackanese.
Yeah,
like Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle's the best at that.
They nailed it, man. Like, that was the humor I used to love.
You know who's great? Robert Downey Jr. in Tropical Thunder.
Yeah.
He plays a black guy. They come after him. They're like, you can't play a black guy. He's like, fuck you, I don't care. Didn't even fucking do an apology. Didn't issue an apology. Didn't do shit. He was like, this is what they wanted me to do, and I'm an actor. This is what I did.
But I also feel like that film was made right before it got silly.
Yeah. For sure.
No, look, I'm not saying you could make that film now, but I think that's the fault of society now. I think that film should be able to be made. I think you can make fun of Arabs or fucking English people or fucking Asian people. Like, I don't think people should be so fucking bent all the time about jokes. It's too much.
Do you think it'll come back around?
I don't know. One of my favorite things to watch on YouTube, there's actually a group of black gentlemen that I like watching that watch like South Park and watch Family Guy, and they watch the jokes that are racial and then try not to laugh.
I watch one.
I love, because I'm like, because
Yeah.
listen, if someone was taking the mick out of me for, I wet the bed till I was fucking older than other people because I had an issue with my bladder. I would laugh about it. I'd just be like, fucking hell, like, I understand it. Like, it's
You think it'll ever come back around again where you can make those kinds of movies again?
I think so.
Think we'll ever see it again?
I think people are starting to resist the mob, for lack of a better word. Like, I think
the left's gone too far.
I think people are starting to be like, hey man, like, you can't cancel every fucking person who says something. But I think like that's gotta stop. At some point, people have to be like, look, man, this is fucking bullshit. You can't.
You hope so.
Yeah. Like, if we don't have our differences, then what do we have?
Yeah.
That's like, just in simple words for me, like, my attraction to relationships and people is our differences. And part of that is the interest in the differences from a educational standpoint, but also our differences from a humorous standpoint.
Yeah.
Like, they're as equal to each other. Like, I'm just as interested in someone's differences as I am to take the piss of them, because that's just life.
But I think what happens is you get people who are malicious, and then they get lumped.
Yeah, but you can identify them. Like, it's so easy. Anyone with the same brain knows when someone's clearly wired in a bad way, in a bad egg.
I agree.
Like, if you look at someone's behavior for how they are around people, you know if they're being malicious or not.
Yeah.
Don't you think people who are like that, intolerant like that, are missing out on life a little bit too? Because you're missing out on all these possible. Yeah, because you're missing out on all these possible relationships that you could have that could be cool, great relationships in your life. Because
yeah,
but I don't think they see it that way. I think they see it.
I think you're right.
This is what I think it is. This is what I'll try and explain what I think it is.
Yeah.
So I think it is like, say someone like James is making jokes and he's like, they're just jokes. My intent is good. Mm-hmm. In their mind, they're like, your intent might be good, but you don't know you're being racist. And it's bothering me. It hurts my feelings because even though you're joking, that terminology is.
Oh, of course. That is totally understandable. But then, like you said there, then communication is key.
Yeah.
What?
And all you have to say, communication is the key then, isn't it?
Yeah.
So all you have to say to the person is that in a polite manner, and then things are rectified.
Yeah.
But, I only act on what I'm around, and I have friends personally that aren't offended by some of the things I say, whether they're Chinese, Iraqi. Like, I've got, like, my friend's missus is like Iraqi. We take piss out of all the time just for fucking sake of it. She does the same thing about us all the time. So it's just like, if we see, like, like, the biggest thing you can have a joke about other races is the food. Like,
well, me and Paul, I
always about food.
Listen to this. I always tell Paul, Italian people just took one fucking noodle and made it 10 different things and called it different dishes.
Yeah, I tell Fouad,
it's all just a noodle.
And I tell
food is the one thing I love having. Like,
look at you have penne, fettuccine, spaghetti, fucking linguine, fucking tortellini. They're all the fucking same. They just shaped them different.
They're all unique. And I was telling Fouad that Arabic food is a bunch of smashed beans you dip bread in. That's pretty much all Arabic food is.
and then Norwegians don't even know how to make a fucking sandwich.
Well,
So
listen,
have you seen what they do?
British food is the worst food.
No, it's not. Fuck off. Norwegians.
Fuck off. Yeah.
Yeah, they put a bit of bread on a plate, yeah, and then they get their ingredients and they put their ingredients on top of it and they don't even close it.
What? Oh, so it's like
Oh,
an
an
open face sandwich?
Open
What the
face.
fuck are you
Yeah.
doing? Like,
You
come
never had
on.
it. You never had an open. You never had an open face sandwich.
Yeah, but it's
I like
shit, man,
those.
because you've got to juggle it. Like, man. Yannicka's always like British food shit. I'm like, have you ever had a cottage pie?
British food is shit. Though. It's-
You
Like,
are
it's-
talking
it's-
No,
absolutely out
it's
of your ass.
not.
British
I'm
food is
talking out of
good.
your ass,
It-
bro.
listen, in the world,
No.
British food is known to
It's
be
top
shit.
two. It's top
No,
two.
Yeah,
it's not top two. No, it's not.
Dead
It's top two.
It's
What,
what?
what do you guys
Top
have?
two.
Boiled? You guys have like what? Boiled fucking sausage or some shit? What do you
Mate,
guys?
we
Fish
have
and chips.
fucking pie and mash,
Okay,
Ooh,
that's
with
one
fish and
good
chips.
dish.
Yeah.
Fish
I
and
like the meat
chips.
pies.
fish and
Fish
chips.
and chips and meat pies I like.
That's
And
it.
you got to know, you got to understand this: curries, yeah, like Indian curries that are
Curries
made.
are Indian.
That's
No, but
British.
they're not.
Nope.
They're made
Nope.
for the British people. They're
Yeah, because
made
you
for our
because
taste
you
buds.
conquered their fucking land. That doesn't mean it's your food. You-
They took their best
Yeah,
spice.
We took
we,
them.
we conquered and then improved their dish and made that.
They're meals. The meals actually designed for the palate of the British people.
you
so it's actually a British
culturally
dish.
you culturally appropriated the Indian food, and now you're like, it's ours. What are you talking about?
Essentially, but it is fucking good. You know when you have one of them Peshwari naans. Oh,
That head
Ooh.
cheese stuff sounds
Actually-
pretty gross though.
Actually,
That's
while-
what we had for
What?
that night you left. I sent you.
What?
You remember I sent you that picture from Ohio, the hotel room. That was curry. That whole spread.
so good.
Oh
So
yeah, that's
good.
right. You sent me that.
Yeah, with the Peshwari naan. Fuck yeah.
My my friend
Oi.
Arj.
That's
My
not
good friend.
English. You guys can't just adopt that. That's
We
Indian.
can adopt what we want. My friend Arj, yeah, he's Sri Lankan. He makes my food for me, yeah, so my chicken every week. Whenever I have that food and I eat it and I go for a shit, Yannika's like, you smell
Like
you've been
that.
to a curry. You smell like you've been to a curry house.
Hey, there he is.
That's,
Hello. It's everybody.
Hello.
that's James. You remember James?
Yeah.
Say hi, James.
Hi, James.
Say hi,
Hello.
Paul.
Hi, Phoenix.
Say hi, Fouad.
Hi, Fred.
I think he's getting so big.
Oh.
Carter, what's up, buddy?
Yeah.
What's up?
They
Carter.
Carter.
can't hear you.
Oh,
Well, wait,
No,
what's
you
the
remember
wait,
James. All right.
James.
All right, you go. Go,
I
I'll be
can't
down
believe
soon.
how big he's getting, man.
I like
Yeah.
the coat. Nice jacket.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Actually, what's going on, guys? I just want to tell you about a new product I've been involved with for a little while. It's called Bashmouth gum, and it's a caffeine gum. So, as you guys know, I love my coffee. I like to drink 1 or 2 coffees a day, but usually if I start to drink them too close, it gives me a little bit of stomach ache, and I kind of get to feel a little bit jittery. With Bashmouth, it's only 130 milligrams of caffeine, so it's like a steady flow of energy because it's in a gum. So I don't get a jittery feeling. I just feel like a nice, clean, long energy. And this is actually what I use to get me through the 5 or 6 hour podcast time that we did at the Olympia. So if you guys want, if you're gamers, if you want something during your workout, you don't like that EAA breath or whatever, or you're talking to a girl on the cardio machine and you don't want to stink like post-workout breath. Or if you just want if you're on a long drive and you just want some constant energy, this is the way to go. Guys, check it out, bashmouth.com for your energized gum. James, how often do you read books and what are your favorites?
I've never read a book. Apart from Where's Wally. But you
Ben?
call it something else.
Good book.
Ben, you've read all those books in the corner there, right?
Nah,
No,
not,
fuck
not,
you did.
literally, this was Denise's, then on mine. Fuck that.
The closest I've got to reading a book is looking at this.
Yeah. Paul, I know
Before-
you. Paul, I know
Yeah.
you read some books.
I'm well read.
That's so surprising to me because you can't pronounce anything properly.
Well, obviously. I've
I
read
wanna
books.
Imagine
know-
how it
Yeah,
sounds
but
when he's reading
that's
it.
what I
out
was
loud.
just gonna say.
he reads it in his head, and it's
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah.
I
I,
was
should
just
probably listen to audiobooks.
I was just going
He
to say
remixed
what James was saying. Imagine how it sounds in his fucking head when he's reading it.
Imagine like, you know when they narrate a film and then you hear the voice of the main character. Imagine like Paul narrating about his life and then everyone's like all fucking twisted.
I should do like audiobooks.
What's your
Narrate
favorite?
them.
What's your favorite book, Paul? Since you read
My
so
favorite
many.
book of all time?
Yeah.
Catcher in the Rye.
Catcher in the Rye. I don't even know what that's about anymore. I think
What
we
Right,
was
it's
it
a
called?
type of
I think we had to read that in high school.
It was about a young man struggling through life. Holden Caulfield.
Wait. Yeah, but I can name a couple of books from when I was in school. They don't count.
Yeah, he means
A
on
current
your own.
book?
He means
current
on your
book?
own.
Paul's just named so he can remember when he was 15 that there's amazing reading. It's like, I'm well read. I'm well read.
No, we mean a book you've read on your own that you didn't have to for like an
Okay.
assignment.
Like most recent, probably. I like Arnold's autobiography I read. That was a great book. I read
Yeah.
Mike Tyson's autobiography. That was a really good book. Those are the two most recent ones I could think of. I started Larry Bird's autobiography, but I stopped it halfway.
Why?
I don't know. I just stopped it. I haven't got back into it yet.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't read as much as I used to though.
I don't know anything about, I think I forgot most stuff I used to know about other sports, but when they come out with like really good documentaries about like Shaquille's documentary or like Jordan's documentary, or I like watching those.
Yeah,
It's inspiring watching like great people go through life and figure things out.
that's why I like autobiography so much.
Torn bicep tendon. Any advice on how to keep training around it?
Why wouldn't you get
Anybody-
it fixed?
Touch
Anybody
wood,
want
I've never had an issue like that.
Anybody want to take a stab at it?
I have got a sore bicep in a minute from sleeping though. Fuck.
I got a bicep problem right now.
Yeah, I've been sleeping, Paul, at the end of my bed, and then my arms off the bed straight,
Yeah,
and obviously that's anchored like that, and then my arms so straight, it's fucking pulling in there like crazy.
yeah, I can
No,
see that
I need
happening.
pointers. Oh,
My wife sleeps with her arms behind her head when she sleeps, and her shoulders are giving her problems now.
Danica sleeps like that, and then she goes like this, and then she has them both there, literally like on her beaver.
Well, make sure she's blocking it. Make sure you don't do anything while she's
She-
sleeping.
I think she's prevented me from like, friendly rape.
Yeah, like friendly
Bad,
fire.
Is there such a thing as friendly?
innit? Yeah, when you're in a relationship and you kind of want it.
Yeah,
I wonder about that.
It's like role play.
it can't be.
No,
So
no,
listen,
they're-
wait. Let me give you
Some-
let me give you a scenario.
Role play.
We're for sure gonna get in trouble. We're for sure gonna get in trouble for this.
Yeah.
Yes.
But this is true though, so let's be factual here.
Okay.
well, let's stop now.
Okay. Let's be as factual as possible. So yeah.
Okay,
Why
so
stop?
what
why-
did you do? So what did you do last year?
No. No. Listen, I'm gonna give you two scenarios. So if you just meet a girl, right, and you end up in bed, and you have to like, come on, let's do it. She's like, no, I don't want to, and you got to like talk her into it. That could be considered rape.
Yeah, I don't like that.
That's-
I disagree with that. I'm very respectful in that place.
Right. But if you've been with someone for 10 years and you're doing that, it's okay.
Well,
Force it in her
sometimes
throat, it
it's,
don't matter.
not
sometimes
force
they do it.
not force in her throat. In the
It's
butt.
fucking-
Wait. How old are we talking? Like we're our age and we just met. We're not married.
No, we're not talking about. No. We've said that you shouldn't do that if you've just met.
Yeah, we're not
Oh
saying
yeah,
if you
for
just
sure.
met.
Yeah,
If you
yeah. If you're a
So
couple
why
years
the
in,
fuck? So why the fuck you laying in my bed then?
Oh,
No, listen.
What are you doing here?
What are you
Yeah.
talking about?
if a woman's laying in his bed with him, she obviously wants to cop.
You said you met a girl, and
Yeah.
you're laying in bed, and you're trying
Yeah.
on, and she's saying no. I'm like, door.
That's my
Yeah.
point, though. That's my point. You don't try any further. You're like, okay, forget it. Get out.
I
of here.
wouldn't try any further.
That's what I'm
There'd be
saying.
implied
So
consent there.
No, I would give it like a 5 to 6 minute effort, and then I'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, you're
Come
not coming
on.
out. There's,
Nah.
yeah.
right.
Listen, we
yeah,
all
I'd put some game on it and try, but for sure.
we all agree.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, when you're in a relationship for a long time, you don't really have to. You can kind of like.
There's implied consent.
Oh, mate, you can just say, look, even this, yeah.
Well, no.
there's- There's a
In
whole
in
thing, isn't there, Paul? Where it's like,
you're
I'm not in the
you're
mood
a
today,
different
but I will
place
satisfy you.
sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes that could be a
No,
game. they play.
sometimes you're on different levels, and you have to just build them to where you are.
You
That's
do,
what I'm
yeah.
saying is you
You need
can
to
work,
Randy.
you can work
Like,
it more,
Like convincing.
and it's not considered
Yeah.
sexual.
Them.
It's not considered sexual assault.
Persuade
It's just
them.
working
Yeah.
through.
But
Just persuade them.
if we've just met and you're laying in my bed, I shouldn't have to get you to this point.
Not
Fuck
necessarily.
off.
Not necessarily. She might just want to kiss you.
Yeah, but why in the bed?
Yeah,
maybe-
so
Yeah.
there's the door. Then if you just there's the door.
All
then
I'm saying
don't lay
is,
in
if
my
you're
bed.
on the sofa and you're making out and you put your hand, try and put your hand down her
Ah,
pants.
no,
and
you
she
says
just
no,
said you're laying in bed. I
Yeah.
usually
Yeah.
Can I do something as well? Because we get people listening. So it works the other way around as well, guys. Like if you women try and like abuse me
Right.
when I'm in your bed and say, give it to me and I don't want to, that's kind of rapey.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
but men don't care.
Men are like, Listen,
Wait,
it's
oh,
I mean,
wait,
you got a
wait,
chubby on.
wait. I have
You obviously wanted
pretended to
it.
be I pretended to be asleep before when this happened. I was on holiday somewhere, and I was like, nope, not you. We had a big shared house. I was on a couch, and it was
Yeah,
like
she
3 in the
wasn't the one.
morning. This girl come back, and she was trying it. I'm like, no, I'm so drunk. Ugh.
Did it work?
Like this.
Did she
Yeah,
try
kept
it?
her
Did
away.
she,
Yeah,
did she-
no, she fucked off. She fucked off, went into the bedroom, and then complained to my buddy who was banging her friend that wasn't banging her.
All right.
I wonder if
Oh.
any guys ever charge a girl with rape.
I'm sure they have.
It's a bit silly that.
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
feel like.
Why is it silly?
Why is this
Because I just can't see how it would happen.
Men can
Yeah,
be fucking. Men
well,
can
some
be
big
raped.
old-
What are you talking about?
some
I mean,
big
like-
old trunch,
Dude, if my cock
looking.
is getting
Okay,
hard,
this was a bad experience then, but I mean, you're not going to charge her with rape.
Maybe.
if I'm getting a chubby cock, that means that my body is inclined to receive.
Yeah.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
You can't
I
make me
think it
get a
is.
boner unless I'm in the
No,
mood.
it's not. That's not true.
What, they fed you
You don't
Cialis?
think so?
It's a physical.
Yeah,
it's a-
no.
But even then, you got to be aroused.
No, I don't want to.
I agree with James.
Like-
Once it's starting to
If it's
once
chubby,
Yeah.
bro.
wakes up, once he
Yeah.
wakes up, you're like, fuck, all right, mate, you
I
take
think-
it over.
You've lost all defense there, I think.
What percentage of men will be sexually assaulted in college? Undergraduates.
By other
20
men, maybe, but I thought by
20
women.
Yeah, it's definitely not by women. Sorry.
26.4% of women and 6.8% of men experience rape or sexual assault through physical force, violence, or incapacitation.
But now let's narrow the scope for that.
7%, Paul. 7% of guys.
I don't believe that stat. I think a lot of that could be male on male.
You
So-
sound-
I reckon.
All right,
I reckon
cool.
that's
Yeah.
that.
How much was-
Paul, if you were filled in by a fella, are you going to go to the police and complain about it?
I'm not gonna be happy about it. I'm gonna be upset about it. I'm gonna do something
Are
about
you
it.
going to go? Are you going to go to the police and press charges?
Depends on the
If a fella
situation.
fills you in?
Depends on the
One,
situation.
one out of every 6 American women has been the victim of attempted or completed rape. That's a lot.
Yeah, see that I can understand that. That's
Wait a
high
minute, wait a
ratio,
minute,
'cause
wait a
Men are
minute.
freaky weirdos.
In her lifetime, about 3% of men, 1 in 33, have experienced an attempted or completed rape in their lifetime. 3%.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
opposite
does
sex.
it still say by what sex?
The opposite sex you have to put.
No, that's the question. What percentage of men have assaulted women? And in reverse.
Oh,
So how many
Well-
percentage of women that have assaulted men?
Yeah, it's 3%.
I think the only
3%,
men,
eh?
the only men that would report that are the ones that are maybe not into women,
Yeah.
because they'll be like, "This is horrible for me because I'm not that way inclined."
Yeah.
Yeah, but
No
that's
That's me,
straight
still-
being,
dude.
that's me being serious.
But that's
No
still
straight
that's
dude
still
would
that's still
report
Yeah,
rape,
no,
though.
I understand that as rape. Then if
I
that's the
think
case.
I think a straight dude would report that.
No,
I wonder if you could find out that stat.
Okay, imagine this scenario.
It's so fun.
I'm probably he's giving me material to wank with now. Free material. Come on, tell me. I'm gonna store it in the bank.
That's disgusting, James. Okay, so 120-pound guy.
400 pound.
Yeah. It's starting well.
120-pound guy, like 180-pound chick. That's kind of muscular. She could force him to fucking do it. She could tie him to a bed and fucking go have her way.
I agree. I'm just saying that he's not going to report her.
He's gonna.
Yeah, but
enjoy
that's
it
still, it doesn't matter if he reports it or not. It's still fucking rape.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying though,
Yeah, but
he's
is he
not going
gonna-
to. He's not going to charge her.
Yeah, is he gonna dislike
That's
that?
not the point we were trying to make. The
What-
point we
what
were
are you
trying to
saying,
make
that
is,
some-
can a woman rape a man? And I'm saying yes.
Oh yeah, woman.
So
can.
are you saying some rapes are worse than others? Is that what you're saying?
No,
Some
that's
rapes.
not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
I just
Like whenever
not-
you read about, when you read about like a teacher sleeping with a kid.
Yeah.
Like whenever it's like a female that gets caught sleeping with a male student,
Yeah.
it's always the kid's parents that rat him out.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
never
but
the
that's-
kid.
But that's obvious though. That's because, listen, men are fucking allowed to sleep with 40-year-old women when they're 20 or they're 16, even though it's fucked up. It's not seen as like, I think when you're a man and you take advantage of a 16-year-old woman, it's different for some reason.
I feel like the only way it would be rape, really, if it's a woman banging him, like sitting on a man's cock, is if she was reverse cowgirling you, so you can't see her face,
What
and then
does
you're
that
really
matter?
enjoying it. Wait, you're really enjoying it. She's hopping, and then when you finish, she turns around and she's hideous.
She's got a brutal face. Yeah.
Then that's rape.
Butterface.
That's
So-
definitely rape.
So if she's good
That's
looking,
great.
so if she's good looking, then it's
So-
not rape.
Only count. So Brad Pitt can walk around with a fucking get out of jail free card, right? 'Cause
But
he
would you
just-
care?
It's not about caring. That's not the point.
Again,
Folks-
this is me now just having a joke. I'm just fucking.
Yeah.
No, Paul, you're not. You're totally not.
Oh, yeah, we're
Yes.
joking.
Yeah,
Paul's
just
like,
having
yeah,
a
me
laugh.
too. I'm joking
I'm
too.
just making a light joke of something that's a serious matter sometimes.
We're totally not joking about it. We're having an honest debate. Can a man be raped?
No, he
And
100%
the reason
can.
we're
Yes.
asking,
Yes.
but,
Yes.
but the reason I think Paul and James are asking is a guy has to be aroused. So if he is aroused, can it be rape? Because that means he's ready.
Is that consent?
All right.
He's a hard
I don't-
cock consent.
I don't think
No,
arousal
it's true. Okay. All right.
it's
all
hard. Oh,
James. So by James's definition, say you're in a room, it's like 3 a.m, you're a bit sauced up, you got a girl there, she's playing away with you. She's like, oh, let's turn the lights off, fix the lights off. She switches with her ugly mate. Her ugly mate comes in,
I'd
you don't
report
know the
rape.
difference. That's rape.
I'd report that as rape. If I
well,
turn the light on and the really, really pretty one's still riding me, I'll be happy. I'll be like,
So in James's world, rape only happens by ugly people.
again, I'm only joking.
I know you're
I'm actually
joking.
being
I
a
know.
son of a bitch.
I
What I
know
will
you
say
would.
this: rape could definitely happen. Let's say a woman comes with a knife and holds a knife to you and says, "Get your cock out, boy," and start sucking it, knife to your throat. You're gonna get a hard cock.
no, she goes to your balls, mate. She goes,
Wait a
that's
minute.
all.
Yeah.
I get
That's,
a knife.
that's a logistical nightmare to reach up
What?
there and
She
I
might
get
have
a
long
knife.
arms.
If I get a knife pulled on me, I'm gonna get aroused.
Really?
Well, then again, so you like that. So maybe that is not rape for you
Yeah.
then.
That's not
It's
yeah,
situational.
Yeah.
Situational.
Understand it. You know when the situation will really take a turn for worse for the guy being raped? If the girl gets pregnant now.
Oh,
Then you'd be
but then it's a deep thing. 'cause then it
Now-
gets-
no,
now
no,
you go down the
hasn't
road of he done me.
You know what? That probably
Hasn't
happens with
actually
celebrities.
happened- I was gonna say this happens to like football players in England. They've
Right.
had girls that
Oh,
have like
that's
Yeah.
right.
gone
Remember Ray
after them
Donovan?
after them and
Season
they've-
one?
Get a payout.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Remember Ray Donovan? He says it's a
Yeah, season one.
It's a TV show.
Yeah, but that stuff happens, I'm sure.
Well, I suppose the highlight of today is that human race is pretty vast and quite wild and quite crazy, and a lot of shit can happen.
The
Complicated.
highlight of today, James, is that my show is about to be canceled.
Yeah.
Next week,
Demonetized at least.
next week we'll be back under a different name.
Yeah.
Yeah, new business, new company, new bank account, offshore.
Do I have to delete all this?
I don't
Yeah.
know.
No. I don't think you do.
Probably.
But
I
just
don't
put a
think so.
disclaimer, Fouad.
Just put a disclaimer in the box and blame Paul
Yeah.
and James. Just say that they're not, or just put all the blame on me because I'm not signed to Hostile.
I don't care.
Protect yourself.
We're just talking. There's no fucking
Yeah.
bullshit here.
It's his fault.
If the IFBB has an app or subscription service that can be used to watch bodybuilding shows, we've answered this before. Thought out the year how much that subscription should be per month or year. I think people would do that. I mean, if you're paying,
It would be way better.
if you're
a
paying
good idea.
30 or 40 bucks for a pay-per-view, it would be better to pay, $10 a month or
For the whole year.
$15 a month for the whole year and get all the fucking shows.
The only
Yeah, and then
thing
it's
is,
one
though, the
one
promoters-
streaming service. It all comes from the same place and much easier to manage.
It's kind of
The
like
only
what
thing is,
it's kind of what the UFC does, right? I mean, they have pay-per-view model, but they also have Fight Pass.
Highlights.
And then they
Yeah.
also have all the old shows still there, so you can go back and watch all the old fights and stuff.
The only
I
thing
think,
is,
that's
though,
I
Fouad,
think that's a very sensible idea.
What's
each
that, Paul?
promoter pays
But-
for their own live feed.
But
So
wait, the UFC is one promoter.
So is the
Right.
IFBB.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but the
Sorry,
IFBB, but wait a minute, the IFBB has.
The IFBB are not. They're not the promoters, though.
I
right?
know. Time out.
Right.
Time out. But the IFBB is what makes the rules, and they hand out the sanctioning
Sanction fees.
guidelines that they have to abide by. So
Right.
if you're a promoter, part of that sanctioning guideline could be you have to have a live stream. It has to be plugged into this fucking thing. Blah blah blah.
Well,
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
don't you start a website? Talk to Jim Mannion and tell him, hey, I'll do everything. Set up the media
I got enough work to do. What are you talking about?
subscription.
It's not my fucking job. I would do it. I bet you would make a lot of fucking money.
I bet it make a fuck.
That's a good idea. It's a
I
really
think
good
it's a
idea.
good idea.
You could give a cut each promoter or something, whatever.
Listen,
you know, you
if
could
I
figure
was if I was somebody who understood live streaming and like let's say a Gilco or something like that, I would totally make that deal. I'd be like, I'd go sit down with Tyler or Jim or whoever the person in charge is and say, look, I'm going to cover every single show this year. This is the fee I want, and we're going to do a live stream from one one location, and the percentages will go like this for the money. Like we'll split the profits this way, or whatever.
Like
And that would, I mean, it would be great for the sport because all of a sudden you'd have everybody buying into one location. You could promote. You could also promote bodybuilding through there, like with news and different things. Like there would be a lot of things you could do to streamline bodybuilding media if you had an app that everybody bought into and just got to watch everything. You could put interviews on there. You could put different news out. Like maybe they
like
hire.
sport.
What about
It's
subscription
kind of
site?
Like
it's
NBA
kind of like
TV,
what Luke.
IFBB.
It's like what Luke and I were doing with Brutal Muscle.
Basically,
Expansion of that.
This is what I'm talking about, right? It's kind of like you're taking a Flex Online, and you're saying we're going to step this up a notch and make it the IFBB.
Wait, cut
IFBB
this bit
TV.
out. Cut this bit out.
It's okay. I already know what you're going to say. I've already thought of this on my own channel. That's why I haven't. But I think it takes the governing body to do it because they can make people do things. They can say this is how it has to be. It has to be plugged into our app. And then they also have the finances and the credibility and the pull to be able to grab people from outside the industry.
Yeah.
And they got the name recognition.
They can say, hey,
IFBB
you know
already.
what? They can say, hey, we know what? We have this app. We want you so-and-so to do interviews on this app. We want you so-and-so to do news on this app. We want you so-and-so to do training information on this app. Like they could start to make it more than just, so people are paying the $15.99 or $21.99 or whatever it is, but they're getting more than just the pay-per-views.
Right.
So now you're making money from the pay-per-views, but you've also included them into a bunch of other things to actually sell the sport to people.
And sponsors would probably love that.
Listen, it's like
UFC, sponsors then could exactly.
It's what UFC and you can get people to sponsor the app.
Right.
There's gonna be companies that are like, I want to be on the first page of your app. Here's $5,000 a month, or I want to be on the, you know what I mean, whatever. And then that all goes to the IFBB
into the IFBB
and helps grow the sport and gets more eyeballs on the show.
Yeah,
and
helps the sport grow.
Raises athlete prize money. It's like
it'd be way easier. It'd be way easier as well for athletes who to share that information because it's one source.
Yes.
So for us all that competing or sign up to sign up for our pro card every year, if there's one source for us to share with our audiences, so much easier, less confusion.
Yeah. No, I think it's basically it's just UFC Fight Pass.
Basically,
for bodybuilding.
And you know what? You could do a pay-per-view. So you could say, okay, for the guys that don't want to be on a monthly membership, if they want to watch just the Olympia, it's on there, but it's $80.
You have to pay separate
for the one-off
pay-per-view kind of too with it. Yeah,
you just watch that one show, you have to pay a premium for it, or it's a monthly.
So the only caveat to it. Sorry to interrupt you, Paul. The only caveat to it is now you're taking the live stream money away from the promoter. So how do you get them involved so that they still get
because you leave them a percentage. So you section off a percentage of whatever you.
And the promoters would benefit because it'd be more eyeballs on their live feeds.
Yeah. But now you're cutting up the live stream with the promoter, the videographer.
So I think you'd work out a percentage of the promoters. You get 20% of the gate, something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, look, it would be, I don't know how the logistics of it would work, but it would definitely work for the sport.
I think if someone could build that if someone could build that infrastructure or whatever, that software, presented it to the powers that be, it'd be well received.
Well, I think, Tyler's a young guy and I think he's very progressive in his approach to bodybuilding. So I think, who knows, it could be something that we see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone, like you said, like a Gilco or someone who has all that media already.
Well, someone who just understands, like, you'd need a web developer, an app developer. You need a whole.
Remember back in the day?
You'd need a whole team of people to do that shit.
You guys might not remember because I'm older than you guys, but American Muscle Magazine used to be on ESPN. Lou Zwick used to run it.
I think I've seen like YouTube highlights of it or some shit.
It was awesome. It was a wrap up of all the IFBB, month or two. They were like, I think they put them out monthly. It'd be a wrap up of everything going on in IFBB for that month.
If you want to look at the long term play of it, if enough people sign up for that app, it wouldn't be a fucking stretch to say, hey, ESPN or whatever small, maybe a smaller
Vision.
True
channel.
TV, something.
Of
Yeah,
the
maybe
channels,
somebody
yeah.
goes, hey, you know what? There's 70, 80, 100,000 people signed up to this app. Maybe we want to put it on our network.
Yeah.
Like, and then you start doing stuff like that too. But I think you have to prove it out first. So they have to put the money up front to build the app before like a TV network or anything is going to look at that. and go,
Right.
If you had 100,000 subscribers, would you give a fuck about putting it on a network?
well, if there's another avenue to make money and bring eyeballs to the sport, of course I would. It's kind of like when the UFC was on Spike TV. That's what elevated the UFC dramatically when they put the fighter on Spike TV, and then people got to watch these guys at home being normal guys. And I think if you did that, if that kind of thing could work out with the IFBB, where like you put 8 bodybuilders in a fucking house and do a show on regular network TV, it grows the whole sport, grows the app, grows the shows, changes
That'd be a
everything.
cool idea. That'd be a cool idea. Like Ultimate Fighter, put 8 bodybuilders in a house with 2 different coaches.
Listen,
And they all got 16 weeks to get ready for a show or something.
What do you think this fucking podcast is? People are watching 4 meatheads just be meatheads, just be talk like normal people and have a laugh.
Mm.
That's what people want.
Nuts and bolts of it, yeah.
Yeah, they want to watch the behind the scenes shit. I think it's a great idea. Somebody has to take the initiative and have the money to kind of put it all in place. So anyway,
I thought we were changing the world over here.
What's that?
I thought we were changing the world over here with our progressive ideas on gender and race and political views.
We are. We've just added our views on the sport. We're changing everything.
Sexual sex.
We're changing the whole game.
Yeah. What about that New York taxi driver that can fix America?
Okay, wait. In our defense, we weren't trying to change anybody's opinion. We're just saying who we were.
So hang on, you just hit the nail on the head, because I thought about this earlier when James was talking. People are too caught up on trying to change people's ideas rather than being able to coexist, having different ideas, right?
Being open-minded.
I think people get too focused on, well, this is my idea and that's your idea, and if we have different ideas, one of us is wrong.
I think it's because ideas are tied to ego.
Yeah.
So if someone says like, I have this idea and I think this is how it should work, and then someone says your idea is wrong, it's a blow to your fucking ego. And if you can't recognize that, then you get your back up. You're like, no, my idea is great. So you have to be able to recognize that your ego is talking.
But some ideas cannot be defined as right or wrong, though, right? Like the trans issue, right? Like some people will be like, that's wrong, and other people will be like, no, this is how I choose to live my life. That's neither one is right or wrong. It's an opinion on how they choose to view a situation. And then they get into the weeds of things because they're too busy trying to convince this person over here to think like them. Sometimes you don't.
Well, I think
But this is the whole point, isn't it?
But I think
we shouldn't all think the same.
No, but I think that's a little different though, because I think if you're in the trans community and you're trying to change somebody else's opinion, it's because you're trying to be accepted as a person. But at the same time, but wait.
Forget the trans thing. Like,
just so I can finish that. At the other side of that point is if you don't believe in it, then you feel like you're being forced to believe something you don't. So then it's tough for either side.
Yeah. Okay. But
watch. Let's take the training argument, right? If I tell you,
that's how I was going to go with it.
If I tell you the only way to get huge legs is to squat, and you say, no, that's bullshit, I got huge legs doing leg press. You don't know what you're talking about. The minute you say you don't know what you're talking about, you've attacked my ego, not just my thought. So unless I have enough humility to say, you know what, maybe Ben's got a point, then my back is stuck to the wall and I'm going to fucking argue.
Yeah.
I think that's the key word, humility, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's like sometimes you have to have enough humility. And sometimes I think when people get caught up in arguments, they're too scared to be wrong. So they just keep arguing.
Don't you think humility is something typically that's learned with age?
For me, it has been.
My experience is most people I know, it comes with age.
Paul, you've known me for fucking 20 years.
Yeah.
You couldn't get me to say I was wrong 10 years ago.
No.
Ever. There's nothing.
No.
Now, first thing I did was come on the podcast and be like, Ben, tell me what I said wrong.
Yeah.
It's like I've totally done like a 180. I'm like,
I I do it with my stepson. When I first moved here, I would spend hours arguing with him because I was like, "Oh, this kid knows. He thinks he knows everything," and I'd be like, "It's my," and I'd get into the weeds of. And now I'm at the point where I just ebb and flow with him. I'm like, "Oh, all right, you'll figure it out. You'll
Yeah.
learn.
I
It's
mean,
okay."
look, I still have strong opinions, but I'm more likely to bend them than I was 10 or 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
you're right, Paul. I think it comes with age.
It seems to for most.
Yeah.
It seems to be rare that it's a young person that has that already.
I feel like as well, because like you have to just respect people's experiences because that determines their thoughts on all subject matters.
Yeah.
You know, what have they been through versus you? And if you've lived two different lives, there's an absolute reason and an understanding behind each other's thought processes being different.
Yep.
And it's having that humility there to be like, okay, we come from a different background, but it doesn't mean we have to hate each other's opinion. It just means that we've lived different lives and there is a difference in how we look at something.
Yeah, your
But that is fine.
perspectives.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fine. It's okay to have that. It's actually like, again, I think I always say this, but that's what makes the world kind of tick, because you have to have some differences between people, which is where you get culture differences, which introduces you to ideas that aren't your own,
Yeah.
which makes you more broad in your thought processes, makes you more understanding of other people.
Makes you wiser.
It makes you wiser. It's so important to have that.
I think one of the.
But I think.
Go ahead, Ben.
No, I was going to say, I don't know whether it's come from this new world that we live in where it's about providing information and educating or whatever it might be. And that's just it can get too far.
Because I
It
think
can go from education to preaching, right? It can go
but I
into
think
this push.
I think with social media, everybody's trying to be heard and everybody's trying to be the expert. So there's a lot more ego involved than when you're not on social media. Because when you're not on social media, if the four of us are having a discussion, it's the four of us having a discussion.
Not to an audience.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you're on social media, there's 100,000 people watching. Now my ego's involved because wait a minute, I could be wrong and then I'm going to look bad. So I got to be right. So I like double down on my shit. So I think it's hard sometimes when you're on social media, you're on Instagram, you're on wherever, and there's other people watching your argument. It's harder to take your ego out of the conversation.
Because you want to look weak or something, eh?
You just don't want to be wrong. I think people want
Yeah.
I think people want to be validated. I'm like, look, I'm speaking from experience. Sometimes it's like James said, I don't bodybuild anymore, but I bodybuilded for 20 years. So I have my own experiences of how I built a certain physique. That might not be exactly what everybody else does. Like me and Ian discuss things sometimes that aren't equal, or me and Justin sometimes have different point of view, but you still want to be respected for what you've done.
Mhm.
And I think ultimately that's what it comes down to, is if you have an opinion, you can have a different opinion. I think the people just want to be more respected for what they've said.
Yeah.
I think that's where things.
I think you can respect someone's opinion, and even if you disagree with, like, if it's not your way, it's just being able to like know that they're two different things. Respect and agreement don't have to be on the same path.
Mhm.
Agree. So it's kind of like,
for sure. Yeah.
It's kind of like Justin, like me and him. Justin is very, very much married to the progressive overload system of training.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm very much married to progressive overload, but always chasing that pump. Like I want to get a pump. I don't, sometimes the numbers don't matter to me as much. So we have a difference of opinion, but I don't think what he's doing is wrong. It's obviously working for him. He looks fucking incredible.
Yeah.
So there's a respect there for like, okay, this guy's found his way and it works. It works for him.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem I think a lot of people have, is what James said, is respecting the other person's view, even if it's not like yours.
What has made that so bad nowadays than opposed to in the past, you think?
It is the social media.
That's what I think it is. Those arguments are happening in front of thousands of people.
Okay, so social media drives that, eh? Yeah.
Think about it.
Social media drives it, but then also social media, your voice is out there, but you're also very, very, you're very out there for attack. So you receive a lot, as much that you put one bit of information out, you receive thousands of bits of information back.
Yeah.
So it's actually more extreme and harder for you now, that when you speak of an opinion, you actually can be attacked from thousands versus back in the day, one-on-one. You speak to one person, you can have one agreement. It doesn't feel like much of a contradiction. It's like, okay, we just different. You and me, we're different. Now you say your way, and let's say you got 1,000 people in your fucking post saying you're a fool, you're an idiot. It hurts a lot more. Like people,
Right.
They're a lot more extreme now.
But I've done the same thing as well, where I've put out something, someone's written a comment back, and I've read it really aggressively.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, well, fuck you. Like, so I was like, right, and they're like, no, I meant, they'll DM me, but like, bro, I was saying it this way, but I might have typed it the wrong way. And then, like, well, now now I'm fucked. Like, it's all just this mess of miscommunication.
I think it's like this. I think it's like this, Paul. Imagine in school where you meet some guy and you're like, I'm going to fuck you up. Let's meet at the park at 4:00. No one's there. It's you and that guy. Now imagine that same fight and the whole fucking school's there.
So now you're gonna put on a show.
Now you're like, if this guy beats the shit out of me, there's 50 fucking people here to watch it.
Right. Yeah.
Whereas if you and that guy are just there by yourselves, you could fight, do whatever the fuck you're gonna do, and if you get your ass kicked, you just get up and leave and go home.
Yeah, you might even talk it out.
That's
it's true.
So I think, and that's true too. You might actually just meet there by yourselves and be like, "What the fuck?"
Oh yeah, there's if the school's there, there's no talking it out.
No,
do you know what? This is
now
so
your egos are
crazy.
involved.
Because like my past month or so in my head has been trying to. One thing that's become very apparent to me in the last month is population, and how populated things are is the problem to most things. So what we're talking about right here is about how many eyes are on and how many people are in this system and readily available to attack. It's the same as being outside in the world when it's getting busier and the roads, there's more cars on the road, there's more distress, there's more stimulus from it's I just this is nothing really to do with this, but just everything that I've been talking about the last month or so with friends or you guys or whatever has come down to just too many people being involved in something. Just having too many.
Yeah, but that's the nature of our lives now. Like nobody.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Think of, I'll tell you this. Listen to this. So, I love like motorcycles now, and it's been my thing for a year or so. So, one of the guys that works for me said, "Hey, if you start doing motorcycle stuff on YouTube, we can get motorcycle sponsors, so you don't have to like pay for all your parts and shit." I was like, "I don't care. I don't want to," because James, what you're saying is true. Everything we do has eyeballs on it. Whatever we do, it's training, it's like the business, it's like the podcast, it's like everything we do has eyeballs. So I was like, no, I want to leave this one thing for myself.
For me,
I get on my motorcycle, I fuck off. I don't care if I'll put out a video here or there or whatever, but like, I don't want to make it a job. Like it's not, you know what I mean? So I think that's why you feel that way maybe, is because there's nothing really in our lives that we do anymore where there's not somebody watching.
Yeah.
Because you wake up and you might do a story. Hey, I'm taking a shit, everybody. Hey, I'm making breakfast. Hey, I'm fucking at the gym. It's like your whole fucking day is seen by thousands of people.
Imagine,
is no longer your own.
Like imagine like big time celebrities, what that must be like.
Oh, it must be crazy.
Yeah.
Imagine being The Rock.
But
yeah, right.
They don't run their own social medias, right? They just have someone else post and fuck off.
But wait a minute,
but that's their lives. They can't go in public.
No, but that part, yeah, but that's different, Paul. You know why? Because as bodybuilders, because the industry is so small, to make sure that we have a fan base, that we can make money, that we can promote bodybuilding,
we communicate back.
We have to be always right. Whereas if you play in the NBA, you're getting a fucking check whether you do your social media or not.
Yep. You got a big check.
Yeah,
and you don't have to interact. Like it's not part of your.
Yeah, you're right. That's very unique about bodybuilding.
And if you play in the NFL, it's even better. Because you're wearing a fucking helmet. When you go out in public, nobody even knows who the fuck you are.
Yeah.
I'll say this about actors as well, though. Like these actors, they just have access to places that mere mortals like us don't go. So they kind of can avoid us. They can go to these restaurants, they can go to these places, and they can be sat privately away from everybody. So
they're not walking through airport terminal.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
yeah, true enough. Yeah.
Imagine that. Through the back door, up in the private room. Whew.
Well, even remember like Samson at the Arnold this year. Remember, Ben, when we had to go try and get him out of the expo? Because he literally couldn't be in the expo.
Yeah.
They took us the back way.
Yeah, we had to take him through the back hallways.
That's when I lost you, Ben. You went back. I was talking to you, and then you disappeared behind a curtain, and I was like, "Oh, I'm not with Ben, so I can't go."
It's funny that you guys brought that up. It's interesting because the average person, especially the average bodybuilder, would look at that and go, "Man, I can't wait till one day I win the Arnold, and then I'm swarmed by people, and I'm going to be a fucking celebrity." And yes, there's like that I've made it thing that I like saw in Samson's eyes. Like he knew, like, holy shit, I made it, right? But at the same time, he deals with a little bit of anxiety, and it's like you could see how stressed out he was.
Yeah.
You guys went. He talked to me after he got back when you guys got him out of there on Sunday. And he was like, I've never experienced anything like that. He's like, I don't know how to like
Take it in.
Yeah, I don't know how to.
Praise.
I don't know how to, because Samson's a nice guy, right? He wants to take a picture with everybody.
Yeah.
But when there's 500 people like surrounding you, it's like, how do you
Well,
manage?
and he hadn't eaten in hours or drinking anything. He was exhausted from the night before. He just got on stage the night before.
Yeah, for those people who don't know how it works, the day after he won, we're sitting back there and he's holding his trophy, and the guys like, they come up to him, start giving him instructions. They come up to him, they're like, "You got to be here at 9 a.m. tomorrow. We have the seminar
for the champions.
Yeah, and then you got to do this thing at 1 o'clock, and you got to do this thing at 11." And I'm like, and Samson's sitting there going,
"Okay,
yeah." He's still exhausted and dehydrated,
and
now he's got to go stand for 6 hours the next day and sign autographs.
So then he had to get up and go to the seminar, the superstar seminar thing, all the Arnold Classic winners. He's there for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Then he went from there to the photo shoot, which was like another 2 hours. So like, this is all like new territory for him.
Yeah.
I mean, trust me, I don't think he would trade it for anything in the world.
No. I'm still thinking.
He's got to. I think he's just trying to learn how to navigate it because it's also new to him.
Yeah.
So I guess it's a good problem to have.
It's a very good problem to have. Imagine winning the Arnold, man, and just being like, that's sealed forever. Like once you've won the Arnold, every year from there forward, you're invited back as a champ.
Yeah, that's
enough for me. I can retire on that shit.
That's a very exclusive club.
If he stopped bodybuilding for like a career-ending injury or something, he's an Arnold.
That never gets pulled away. You're celebrated.
Yep.
You are one of the best.
You'll always be one of those 20 or so that have
Listen,
held
man,
that title.
honestly, this is, and I know people are like, "Oh, you love Samson." I don't give a fuck. This is one of the best stories I've ever seen because he literally, and this has nothing to do with HOSSTILE. I just love the fact that, you see people coming from a mile away, right? Like you could see Nick coming.
Certain people.
No. But that's what I'm saying. You could see some people coming from a mile away.
Yeah.
Like you could see when Nick was 19 years old, Nick is going to be fucking crazy. You could just tell he's going to be crazy. You could see Phil Heath coming. Like when he first got his pro card, you're like, look at that guy's fucking shape.
Yeah.
When he gets bigger, he's going to take over this whole fucking thing. Yeah. There's certain people you can just see coming.
A lot of people didn't see.
Nobody could fucking see him coming. Even me. Even
there
me.
was a few British boys saw him coming.
No, guys, seriously, listen. Even me. Just
hang on.
Just hear me out. So when I saw him for the first time, I'm like, that structure is incredible. So he signed the guy, but did I ever think Samson was going to be Mr. Olympia? I didn't think that far. I was like, he's going to be great.
Listen, I'm not going to pat myself on the back too much here, but
I'm about to.
In 2018, Luke and I started a website, and I was paying for this out of my savings. We were paying the athletes still. We didn't have fucking money. Samson was on the payroll as a sponsored athlete. Because I was like, Luke and I were like, that guy's going to be fucking ridiculous.
That's not what I said. That's what I just said. I did the same thing. But did you think he was going to be Mr. Olympia?
Yes.
No.
He's not Mr. Olympia yet. Hang on.
Arnold.
What? Hang on. Luke and I said this on the Elite FTS podcast. I was like, he told us our story, and then he posed when we first did the Brutal Muscle videos. Luke and I sat there afterwards and be like, that's a thing. Like, he could be it.
Yeah, I know. That's okay. That's obvious. That's what I did too when I saw him.
You saw the potential.
I saw the potential, but there's a lot of guys you see potential and don't know if they're ever going to realize it.
Yeah.
And I think, and Ben, if you saw it, that's awesome. I didn't. I knew he
I
had.
I
knew he had
James
the potential.
The UK seems a little tighter and a little. I think they're aware of our. I don't know, James.
When you signed him, Fouad, I was like, yeah, he's got potential, but I didn't see him as an Arnold champion one day.
I found it odd when I spoke
has
to
been incredible.
I found it odd when I spoke to like Evan and that, and Evan didn't see what I saw. Do you remember?
I remember that. I remember we had him on the podcast. Remember? And
I was like, guys, like I said, look, honestly.
You said the same thing about Andrew, James, and I remember we were all like, I don't know, I haven't seen him yet.
We did a podcast with Evan, and I showed Flex Wheeler and Samson because there was somebody was putting this photo together where they're both kind of standing the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
And granted, look, Flex Wheeler looked better at the time, and he's phenomenal, right? But Evan was like, I don't see it, and I'm like, really? It's there. Like it's not it's not Flex Wheeler,
right?
But it's there.
Where you can see it turning into that one day.
But even at that time when I thought he was incredible, did you
see him winning an Arnold Classic ever?
It's because of me. It's not because of him. I don't I always think more negatively than positively. And then
then it's a nice surprise.
Yeah, and then when good things happen, I'm like on top of the world. I don't generally think like
I'm like that.
But in this sport too, though, you don't generally see people fulfill their potential as quickly as Samson has.
Well, it wasn't quick though. That was the thing. Samson
quick,
been around. Samson been around for a while. That's why I wasn't sure. I'm like, he's got incredible physique, but like, is he going to end up being like a guy who's amazing and he's in the top 10 at the Olympia, or is he going to end up being what we think he can be?
Yeah,
and
but that's what I mean. That's what I mean. I just think the American bodybuilding world weren't as aware, obviously.
Look, man, I'm not going to rewrite history. The British bodybuilding world wasn't about it either. You guys have been on this podcast for 2 years. Nobody was saying this stuff about Samson a year ago. Nobody. I did podcasts with Luke. I did podcasts with you. I did podcasts with James. Everybody said he was great. Everybody said he was great, but nobody said he was the bodybuilding guy from the UK. We were touting James as
no.
He had
Look,
and everybody was like, Nathan. Everybody was like Nathan this, Nathan that. Nobody was saying Samson's going to be the Arnold Classic champion one day. Nobody.
Yeah, I remember specifically. I remember specifically that no one thought that he would ever hit the condition necessary.
And it wasn't only that; it was the size he gained from the time he started working with Milos to after. Like when he started working with John, it started.
Yeah,
and then Milos took over, and he just kept growing.
It's been about 4 years, probably.
Well, no, he only
he's really accelerated.
Not even that, because bear in mind,
not even.
He was against me in 2020, and I beat him twice.
He only started working.
And then in 2021, he started kicking everyone's ass.
He started.
What was the year that he beat Nathan?
He started working with John before the Prague show.
22.
That was they were in their prep. He started working with him that off season, and they were in the middle of his prep when John passed. He was like 8 weeks out.
Yeah,
and then Milos took over, and Samson lost to Nathan once or twice, and then he beat him.
On the third one.
Yeah, and then he beat him in Prague.
And what was that? Was that 2020? You said
2021.
21.
Okay,
it's a year after, because that's when I noticed. That's when Samson started to.
It was 21, and then that next off, then they did the Arnold.
Yeah.
And then that off season after Arnold,
that's where he made a lot of progress.
They fucking he blew up like way more significantly than the years before.
Yeah.
Anyway, whoever knew it, whoever didn't, doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm saying personally, it's a really awesome like surprise, and I think it's a great story. Like he just posted something a couple days ago about doing cardio in his hotel room, and I'm like, that was just like 2 years ago he was doing that shit. 2 years ago. So
I don't see Samson ever becoming a person who's going to forget where he came from. You know, he's always going to be that humble guy still.
You know what? It's refreshing to see how appreciative he is. Like he's so I don't want to say grateful because he earned it, but there's something about his joy of winning the Arnold. Like Ben, you saw him after winning the Arnold. He's just got this really genuine, like, almost childlike excitement about what he's done. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, so, he wouldn't let that trophy in there. He wouldn't put that trophy down.
I wouldn't put it. If I had that fucking thing, you'd hold it for weeks, wouldn't you? It'd be going to bed with you.
The thing was fucking heavy.
It was fucking heavy.
It's incredible achievement.
Yeah.
The thing I like about him is he's not afraid to compete either. Like he's like,
he's not afraid to lose either.
Yeah.
He's not afraid to lose either.
I wonder if that'll change, James.
After this
lose thing, because of that where he's at.
Because I agree with you. He's always been like game to go at it, right? But I wonder if that starts to change with the pressure of being the Arnold Classic champion.
I don't know.
Or will the passion for being on stage overweigh everything? I'd like to think the latter with him, because I think he's just so passionate.
He likes being on stage. He likes performing. I think he likes, and he's great at it.
Like, and I think he'd clap for another man if they beat him.
Yeah, well, that's going to be the interesting part, is if he gets, because at the minute his trajectory from say 2019, 2020, he's just got steadily better and better and better and better. And at some point that's going to level off, right? And at some point it's going to be small little differences show to show. I wonder how he handles a loss or a setback, or the look doesn't get better each and every time, because at some point
he may never ever lose a show ever again.
Possible.
Imagine
Like,
that.
you know, so it's no, but honestly, like he may
It's
he may
possible.
do another 4 shows in his career, very smartly picked, and then call it a day.
I just wanted to show this because I thought it was an awesome comparison.
Oh, yeah.
Look how close that is.
Mm.
I mean, he's got better
Yeah.
legs, right?
Yeah.
But look, like this is an 8-time Arnold winner, and this
Olympia.
looks like, or sorry, Olympia winner, and this looks like the 2020 version of him.
Right. Looks, yeah, Lee Haney evolved.
The only thing, Lee Haney had an incredible back, so Samson's got a little work to do there. But
Yeah, Lee's back. Was
Haney
Especially
was
that
a
front
lot
latch.
younger as well.
yeah, Haney was what 32 when
When
he
he
retired.
retired at 32.
Yeah,
Oh, he was that young when he
That's
retired?
crazy to think about that.
yeah.
That's why
That's crazy thing about that,
Potentially.
right?
I think he saw
He's
Dorian. I think
8-1.
he saw Dorian coming. He's like, I better get the fuck out of here.
So he saw the
Yeah.
game change a
Squeeze,
little bit.
squeeze one more out and then get the fuck out.
All right, quickly
But-
before we go. Sorry, I don't know if you guys have to go or not, but I want to show this before we log off.
I'm,
Just that,
I'm doing fuck all. I'm chilling.
just because I think it's crazy to look at. I think this is now.
Yeah, I
this
think it is. He's just holding that
Derek,
like
yeah.
level of condition, isn't he?
That's
at
right
this.
now?
Yes. I told you when I saw him at the Arnold and fucking Hani made him flex his legs and abs
Yeah.
and shit. I was like, he's still in shape.
Yeah.
Like, look how small his feet look compared to his body. Like that's what shows you the muscularity.
Ben? Can you believe the condition?
That's great. Is that recent? Legit.
I think it is.
I think it is, man, because I think these are recent down here that he was posting. Like that's
I don't think he gets out of shape now because he's at the weight that he's happy with.
I'm extremely impressed. I don't want to be that guy, but I think I'm going to do it anyways.
Well-
I think that Olympia is going to come down to him and Samson, and depends how hot he shows up. But I really think. Well, I mean, I can't say that. I can't say that.
That's insane.
There's so many guys now. that-
I can't say that.
I knew
Yeah,
it.
there's Nick and there's Andrew but I think honestly, when I look at Derek, I'm like, fuck, man, that's going to be hard to beat.
Can I
There's a
ask a
lot of-
question though? Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Derek's got like loads of muscle, yeah, and I'm a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
And I respect him and I think his physique's amazing.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I'd still rather look like Dorian Yates,
In what way?
proportionally.
Because I think Dorian Yates has a longer physique. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like I'm more drawn to someone who looks like they can move.
Well, you're more like Dorian's more
Too
stretched-
compact, you mean?
stretched
Derek's
out.
too compact.
Yeah, like, and I'm not saying the musculature's insane, and he can move, he can wrestle. Like, so I'm not saying he can't, but I'm more attracted to a slightly taller
I
Yeah.
think most,
physique, I suppose.
but I think most people are though. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's why that's why I said, is it strange that
That's
I said?
why I think
But that's going to.
Go ahead, Ben.
I was going to say that's where the likes of Quint, Samson, Andrew,
Right.
they're the exciting, like those taller physiques. If they come in at 100%, I don't see where people are going to insert themselves into that top.
Ben,
top
I think
three
what
or
it is as
four.
well, I actually do like a little bit less muscle.
Well, I think it's not less. I think it's just because it's proportioned different.
it's
Jane.
spread out more a little bit,
Yeah,
kind of.
I think because he's maybe a little bit taller, he's got a bigger structure. Whereas
So you
Derek-
wouldn't say that Derek doesn't have, you don't think Derek has more muscle than Dorian did there?
no,
I think he does. I think Derek's got more muscle in his frame than probably anyone that's ever graced the fucking stage because he's just not producing any fucking myostatin.
like here, you think so?
He's got more muscle than Dorian in total, yeah.
I don't think so.
I do. More
Dorian's
muscle.
Dorian's legs are just as big. Dorian's back is probably bigger. Chest is probably bigger.
Bear
And
in mind the height difference as well, Fouad.
Derek's probably exactly, but for this to look this big and him be taller, means
If we stretch Derek to his height, who's got more muscle?
Dorian.
Dorian.
I don't think so.
Fouad, can you close that top right tab away, please, mate? It's making me uncomfortable.
But Dorian for me is like a slightly less. He has a bit less muscle, but it's all that gnarly muscle. Like I like a little bit less, but gnarly.
I
Well,
wonder.
what was Dory competing at? 260?
At his best around that, yeah.
And what was
This is
Derek like
off-season,
240
bear in mind.
last year?
No, he wasn't. I don't think he was 240 on stage, was he?
No.
Holy shit.
I don't think
I
so.
think
James.
he's
And
in
you-
two-
I honestly think he has less.
you know
muscle
the
than-
pictures of him in the socks, the black and white ones. These
Yeah, them
ones,
ones, yeah.
Yeah.
these
That's
ones are.
still.
I'm sorry,
Blood
dude.
guts.
This is bigger, man.
I
I
think
don't
maybe
think it is
Derek's
if you were
legs
to
might
do a
be a
muscle
little bit
like
bigger.
a DEXA scan and work out how much muscle they got.
I think he looks, if you just look at body parts, his back and chest are bigger. His legs are the same size at least. So then it's like Derek has arms, bigger arms.
Maybe
I-
quads
I-
a little bit, you think? Sweep
I think
especially
bodybuilders of today generally have more muscle
per square inch.
Yeah.
Like pound for
per
pound.
square inch. Yeah, just
I don't know. Look at that weight. Look at that
logically
front lat
speaking.
spread.
Where?
Look at that front lat spread in the middle. It's a video, but I don't know.
Where is it?
It's a
Here?
lot of. You just clicked on it. Oh,
Yeah.
That's the one. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a lot
so-
of muscle, but I do think people have more muscle on their frame now.
What did he
How
go
big
on
is
stage? What
Derek?
did he go on stage at? 250 or 260? Paul, what did you
I
say?
think it was 260 or so.
Depends
But he was
what
like
year.
5'10", wasn't he? 5'11".
5'11".
Derek's like 5'7",
Yeah, but
5'6".
James, if he's going on
I'm
at
still-
if he's going on at 250 or 260 in this condition, I mean, he's like he's 5 pounds sharper than Derek ever was, or 10 maybe. He's like, look how sharp he is.
Yeah.
It's like how big would he have been if he would have just not been as shredded?
I just like look at that front relax.
Where?
Yeah, I still the up and then left.
I could see it in the quads maybe, Derek being a little bit rounder.
I don't think he has as much muscles per square inch. I just don't think. I think Dorian sits more like muscle per square inch, where someone like
Then why do
Loves-
people wait a minute? So if you, and I'm not saying you're wrong, but curiously,
no, this is a good debate
why do people compare him to Ronnie Coleman then if he's that much smaller?
because he started. He's small next to Dorian, Ronnie. He's not nowhere near Ronnie.
Yeah, I don't think he's.
Yeah, but Derek's small next to Samson.
No, but he's not. Not musculature wise.
not muscularity wise. I don't think so.
Muscularity. If he was as tall as Samson, he'd have more muscle than Samson. Still,
I
I guarantee.
No, I don't think so.
I think Derek's probably got the most muscle on his bones currently in the bodybuilding scene.
More than
Derek's got-
Sean too.
No,
Labrada?
Derek's got
More than Sean.
fat. No, that's not true. Derek's got.
We don't know the science. We don't know the facts. It could be
Okay, I
true.
can't say it's not true. I can't. I respect your opinion. This is what I think is Derek's got more muscularity in his back than Samson. Maybe in his shoulders than Samson. Maybe even in his arms. But Samson's got more muscular in his legs and his chest.
I would just like to literally just
Think about it,
weigh
James. Think about it, James. If a guy is this short and his legs are this big, if you stretch him out, his legs are going to be even smaller.
No, because his scale. I'm talking about if you scaled them up. Scale is increasing height and and density.
Then scale Sean Clarida up and everyone's fucked.
No,
Yeah,
I still don't think. I don't think Sean
That's
has
what
more
I-
than. I don't think Sean has more than.
No,
Derek.
James, not how
If you're gonna scale him, then I would argue.
James, I respect your opinion, but this is
Listen, I'm just trying to create a conversation here.
no. I like.
I
the
do honestly
conversation.
think.
What I'm trying to say is
I know what you're trying to say.
Derek's leg is like this big around, right?
Yeah.
If you stretch out the muscle, it's going to be like this.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that. I'm saying if you scale someone up.
Yeah, but you don't get to stretch him out and keep it this
No,
big.
because I'm talking about muscle per square inch here. We're talking about muscle per square inch.
Yeah, but I disagree because if Samson's femur, like his hip to his knee, let's say is this long, and it's this fucking big, do the square inches. It's going to be more.
No, because
he's
he's do it
just
in
as-
comparison
because
to how much bone he has. So in comparison to the bone of Samson's skeletal structure to Derek's skeletal structure, who has the more muscle comparatively on their actual
But
body?
hang on the Olympia stage, one of the critiques is Derek needs to bring his legs up to match.
Oh, for
And
sure.
Samson's
for
legs,
sure.
but Samson's legs match his structure and size.
I know,
Derek's-
but I'm still going to argue.
Derek's-
I'm going to argue.
Derek
Derek's so wide
Derek
in the
needs
back,
to-
he needs bigger legs. It's because his back's so big, he needs bigger legs.
I think it's because
Back was smaller, he wouldn't need bigger legs.
I think he's empty in the adductor area. That's why he needs more legs. It looks kind of gappy in the middle there. That's why.
I'm just curious. I just think
That's-
I think bodybuilders of today are generally more muscled than the 90s guys. Paul Dillette was probably one of the guys that had-
Marcus Rule.
Generally.
I still don't think Marcus Rule had more. If you look at his hamstrings and his triceps, they
He
weren't.
didn't have more muscle than Derek Lunsford.
This is a great.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think Derek's honestly got the most muscle.
I think
NASA?
generally,
If
if
Nick's
I were to
quads
say,
were
Wait a-
like, if Nick
wait a minute.
Walker's quads were the same as his upper, he
Wait
would
a
be
minute.
packing probably
James-
possibly the most muscle.
James, are you trying to say right now that
Go
you? Wait, I just want to quantify this statement. Are you trying to say that Derek Lunsford has the most
Yes.
muscle ever to step on stage?
I feel like he's the person with the most, the circumference of the muscle from the skeletal structure, how much it pops out. He has developed the roundest and fullest muscles probably ever in terms of width and density versus anyone else.
Oh my God, no.
Yeah, I know.
That's just me. That's just me.
Dude, Phil Heath was way denser.
I can't.
Ronnie
James,
Coleman.
I can't even respect your opinion anymore, James.
Gustavo,
It's okay. We're okay to fall out of this.
Gustavo Bedell, Dennis James.
No, but Gustavo Bedell's
Dennis
waist was
too.
like this.
So what? That
There's
doesn't
with the
change
shape
level.
too.
That doesn't change.
Muscle.
Wait.
Muscle.
He
That was
said the
muscle.
level. He said the level of muscularity. He didn't say shape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still,
the
if
obliques
Derek's
were very well
waist is like
developed.
this, and that's all lat that's coming out, not waist. It's different.
Obliques is
Wait.
muscle.
Wait. Let's continue this on. Wait, watch. Are those fake or are those fucking massive peaks?
He used to do like the whole upper thing, didn't he?
What are you
I think
laughing
he's
at?
very good,
He was iconic.
but he ain't packing the most muscle, bro. Hate to
Come
say it.
on.
Not the
What?
prettiest, that's for
I'm
sure.
being
but-
honest, man. I just got my own
Dude,
opinion.
look at him next to Ronnie.
He ain't no Coleman. bruv. Look at Coleman's quads compared to his.
Well, Ronnie's the best. That's why.
Ronnie's great. Yeah.
Ronnie's the damn best.
Yeah. What about Nasser back in the day? He was like 270, 280 on stage, wasn't he?
Yeah, I'm just talking just purely from
Generally.
like a
That front lat spread of Marcus Rule is packed.
Yeah.
it's very good, but I'm standing strong on my opinion here, boys and
Okay,
girls.
let's see. Let's see.
I think someone with the most responsive muscle cells and fullness is definitely.
Oh wait, that's not a good one.
Gustavo.
You can't hunt for a good one, bro. Like, you gotta hunt for a good one. Like, wait. Let me just get a good one, bro.
Okay, wait.
Come on. You can't put Gustavo in the same league as Derek Lunsford.
Why?
That's what
He was like
He's-
third at the Olympia one year.
Yeah, Derek was second.
Yeah, but that's the same league. That's the same. It's not like it's not like they're out of look. Somebody's comparing him to Hadi. Look at this.
Well, put the three up. Look, Jay, Ronnie, and Gustavo.
Gustavo was good, dude. Look at this. Is
He was
amazing.
good. I used to watch the DVD of those particular Olympias, the 5 and 6. The 5, 4 and 5, I think he come third. Victor got third in 6.
Hey,
I
maybe
used to watch.
maybe Derek's got. I'll give you Derek over Gustavo because Gustavo's legs weren't.
Yeah.
They're good, but they're not incredible. Okay, let's say who am I?
We
gonna
don't have
throw?
to do this. It's okay. I get it.
No, I'm going to make you a whole bunch of enemies today.
Look at that shot of Dennis.
Listen, I'm not even like a super fan or of anybody.
You tell me, Dennis. Tell me, Derek has more muscle than Dennis.
Turn Dennis around and look at his back and legs.
Dude, look at
The
that.
back.
Are you
Yeah, but turn him
crazy?
around.
Look
Turn
at how
him
much
around. Turn him around.
Look how
Turn him
much
side on and turn him around.
Look at that. Look at his hamstrings. Are you nuts?
Dude. Trust me.
Hang on. What about Big Ramy?
Wait.
Oh, Ramy, when he first came on the scene, was something else. I won't
Look
lie.
Grammy's
Look-
quads are they going
Look at Dennis's back.
Jeez.
Yeah, Dennis was pretty good, but he's kind of got a similar. It just reminds me of like Derek's back in that relaxed shot.
He's bigger than Derek, dude. Are you crazy? He's
Yeah,
also
yeah.
tall. He's bigger and taller.
I
There's
love
more muscle in
Dennis's.
that.
Remember Dennis's like 4-week outlook was the best.
I liked
That's
Dennis
big.
when he was
Oh.
like doing the NABA back in the day, before he was even IFBB.
When he had a Jerry curl.
Oh, when he had hair?
When he
Yeah,
had
yeah.
a
When
curly
he
hair.
did NABA Worlds or Universe or whatever it was.
Like when he
That-
first turned pro.
Yeah, I've seen the
You think-
routines.
Okay, so are you going to give me this one?
No.
No, why not?
Because I still stand by what I say.
You can't think that Derek. Okay, poll.
I'm standing by what I say.
Does Derek Lunsford have more muscle than Dennis James?
He's gonna say no, but that's fine. We're entitled to agree. Like we don't all agree on rape. It's fine.
The definition of it.
I can't give in to my.
Paul, you've been around
feeling.
for 30 years. Who do you think's bigger than Derek Lunsford?
Who do I think
Because
is
a
bigger
different
than
word.
Lunsford?
Because the wrong word.
Yeah.
Well, more
I understand what
muscular.
James is saying.
More muscular.
More muscular with small waist, like not
No, he
someone
didn't
who's
say
like
small
just,
waist. He just said more muscular.
but I think
who
that's
at
what he
Derek?
meant.
Who at Derek's height is packing more muscle than Derek?
Big Ramy, maybe?
Kai. Look at
Now,
that.
I will say this: Kai in his prime, there was a couple of times when he was very fucking.
I
muscled.
know that.
Look at that shot. See that shot of Kai off season?
2012 New York Pro is the one.
Dude, some of these pictures of Kai are ridiculous. in how
Pretty
bad-
legendary. Pretty legendary. He was really good,
Yeah.
man.
Look at that back, man. You can't tell me that Derek has more muscle in his back than that.
Please look
Probably-
at the 2012 New York Pro really quickly, so then I can just awe at the crazy
had-
fucking.
If you had to name like the best non,
Look at that most muscular to the right. That one up above, the one above, the one who's crabbing. His crab normally looks shit, but here it looked really good.
Yeah, yeah. Look at his
Crazy.
look at his back there. That's
Oh, his back.
20.
That's one of my favorite looks of Kai the whole time, his whole career. I thought
One
that
of
was
the
just
greatest.
a really good balance. Look at that back relax shot down there,
Look,
left.
look
left
at
and
that.
right.
Look at
man.
wait.
Yeah,
Look at
exactly,
this.
I know.
This
Crazy,
is
crazy.
This is Brandon Curry.
I know.
Is
Making
it?
him like an absolute
Looks like a-
child.
like
Well,
a pro versus an amateur there.
But be
But
careful. Be careful.
That's early, Brandon. I know.
This is Brandon before Kuwait.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's what I mean. Like Kai was crazy. Like look at this picture here, left and then that one. Look at that.
Yeah, that's
Ooh, look at the hamstring.
okay. Are you going to give me this one?
Kai's up there. Oh wait. Can we just look at this one more most muscular that was there? There's one more most muscular. It was just really good.
Where?
Down there on the left. Look at that one.
This
And,
one?
and again, that's a shot that never usually looked good. But look at the density. That showed he was crazy. Yeah. Kai Green might be pushing for that. I'll give Kai that.
Might be. Generous
you-
of you, James.
James,
I'll give Kai that because I like Kai.
James, I normally, I gotta tell you, normally your bodybuilding opinion to me is like here.
This one you're like
This one's just shit.
dog shit. You shit the bed today.
I think it's close. I would say Derek is a fucking really, really thick guy. But I don't think he's the biggest, most muscular bodybuilder to ever step on stage. But I do think
What about of current crop?
well, it depends. I mean, if you're talking about body parts, I like Samson's got bigger legs and a bigger chest.
Big Rami's got bigger legs for sure.
Close.
If you're talking about total package, I would be inclined to possibly agree with you.
And remember the original debate, it wasn't even this. It was just who had more muscle in their frame out of him and Dorian.
Yeah.
Like I just
No,
just
but I
seem to-
think it was an interesting conversation to go.
Yeah.
I think Paul, who do you think has the most muscle on any
Muscles.
Who muscles on stage? This
Biggest-
current pros.
Probably Big Ramy, I would think, Joe. Just sheer mass. Like his quads, I think, have be the biggest quads ever.
But his
on a
back,
bodybuilding stage.
his back is kind of missing. His triceps are missing. So maybe Derek can get a bump.
He's still got a shit
like-
ton of muscle on his back, by the way.
Yeah, like I'm saying, he's got some people have better body parts than he does now, but just pure mass, I don't think anybody could touch Big Ramy still.
Yeah, I
Mm.
think you're right about that. I think
Just
you're
so much muscle.
Ramy's
man. It's
still the
crazy.
king of muscle. Ramy's still the king of muscle.
There's no way nobody's had bigger quads than that ever. They're just ridiculous.
I'm gonna say that this year I'm looking forward to Derek, Samson, Quint,
Mhm.
our three people, and Hunter's change. And
Yeah.
one of the other ones I think me and Ben were we're talking about it is I'm looking forward to seeing what Nick can do with this change in his training. Because he's going to a push-pull legs with like
Coming over to my world.
Yeah, well, he's doing, I think, the 2 leg days with the push-pull legs. Like, I'm interested to see what happens to his physique. Because if Nick ever can match the upper body muscularity and size with the lower body, it's going to be fucking really dangerous for a lot of people.
I feel like all Nick's got to do is some hack squats. I don't think there's a lot else.
Just
Like some hacks.
Well, you're saying
He spent a good few years hack squatting.
yeah, I think
I've never seen him hack squat.
yeah, he has a lot. I think for
No,
Nick,
he's a lot.
I think Nick's doing something smart this year by doing more frequency. I think adding another leg day could help.
Yeah.
spark
Yeah,
that.
if he can make those quads rounder, especially in the sweep, I think it would
Yeah.
drastically change things.
Yeah, there's a few storylines I'm really looking forward to this year.
Yeah, it's gonna
So-
be an interesting year.
So James, what time is it?
Are you
right
guys? Are you?
Go ahead. now? Go ahead, Ben.
I was say you guys coming out for because we went to Tampa last year. Are you Tampa in Texas? Are you planning to be out here for that? Are you guys?
Well, I'm planning to be out for the Dallas Europa, which is not the Europa anymore. It's called the USA Fit Games, I think, or something like that. We have a
Right.
booth. We have a booth at that show, so we'll be there then. I don't know if I'll be there for Texas, the Texas Pro, maybe Tampa. I don't know. I don't know how the year's going to go.
Yeah, I don't
Only
know
one
what
of
I'm
them,
doing yet.
just for a boys trip.
Yeah, like the Dallas show. I'm
Like we
gonna
did last time.
piss my pants. James, what time is it there? 11.
Yes, it is, sir. It's
What are you doing
quarter to.
What are you going to do for the rest of the night?
I'm just gonna watch some YouTube, eat some food, just chill, sit with the cat. Easy.
I'm gonna go piss my pants.
You do that.
All right, better go piss,
Can
before I
I-
piss my pants.
Happy
Yes.
birthday, James.
Thank you, guys.
When you're done pissing, can you call me?
Yes.
Call him.
James, happy birthday.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you guys. Good to see you all. Made my
Thanks for
birthday.
Happy
It's nice.
birthday, James.
This is my private birthday club.
All right,
See you,
boys.
Ben.
Easy,
We'll call you
gentlemen.
tomorrow.
You guys. Bye, Paul.
Take care, everybody.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
See you guys.